Hey, what's up, guys? Hartman here. We're gonna rip some of the UDFA drafts right here at the final stretch. This thing's been filling up pretty quick. Dropped Sunday night. It's already at 56%. Hoping it lasts till like Thursday at least, but it might be gone tomorrow. So I'm gonna rip a couple of these. Uh, I'll probably just hop in. I'll hop right in the first one. I might multi-table it. Not sure. I'll probably wait a few minutes though and hop in a couple more. Maybe do like 3 at once or something like that. Can make it a little bit more entertaining to maybe multi-table it and, hopefully not miss any picks or anything. Uh, Hop over to chat. Hey, what's up, Nice and Blunt? Thanks for stopping by. What up, bro? Appreciate it. Alright, so we're in at the 8 spot. I don't think Paul Legio, he's in at 11. I don't know if he's in here, but, no, Paul definitely from mainly fan speak, but all around. Um, but yeah, all right, yeah. So yeah, just kind of ripping some at the end. Like the title says, $2 drafts, ADP is a myth. I'm just gonna kind of be, not worried about reaching it all or anything. I'm not gonna reach just for the sake of reaching, but ADP really won't matter to me. If I have a strong take on a guy or strong feeling, I'll pull him up a whole round or something in this. Not really worry about it. Um, just might be a little bit more fun, kind of hammer my player takes. Also, this tournament's just super, super top heavy. So top 25 to even get 100 back. And finals is $14. So for this, I'm just shooting for the absolute moon. Um, I think with that, the only thing with my construction, and since it is a 4 out of 12 initial advance, like I would be more open to going less heavy RB or like pushing QB or RB more, go more like zero RB, different stuff like that. Um, I'm not necessarily going to force myself into like a zero RB or something like that, but I think they are more viable in this with the bigger early advance. And then the kind of week 17 is all that matters. Like this is, the ultimate week 17 is all that matters contest. Like, that's you're only getting $14 even for making it there. So it's like you really need a strong team that last week. Um, so yeah, I do think more like zero or hero RB is more viable in this, but I don't know. It just kind of depends how the board falls, everything. So we'll kind of see what makes it back to us. But I might lean a little bit more into that if it is like available to me. Like I said though, if there's good RBs and stuff, I'm not gonna like pigeonhole myself into it. Um, so I think here I would go Amon-Ra if he's there. So I'll go Amon-Ra here over CMC. Amon-Ra I think is just ultra consistent. You really just can't go wrong with him. I mean, every year just super consistent. One of the highest upside offenses in the league with the Lions, right? His target volume is going to be good, even with the new OC kind of new system. I feel like he's a guy that just doesn't worry me at all. He's very clearly number one target on the team, one of the best offenses in the league. And I'm also a huge Lions fan, so get to make a homer pick. That's always good. Uh, but yeah, so I think Amon-Ra is kind of my guy in the first round. Like I'm willing to take him. I wouldn't always do it, but I'd be willing to take him over like JT or CMC sometimes, get a little different, even up in here over some of these receivers. I'd be willing to do that every once in a while and not feel very bad, like projection wise, about the difference between them. Hey, what's up, Paul? Thanks for stopping by, brother. And I saw you're in the draft at the 11, start with Jay Jettis. Thanks for stopping by, bro. I am like ARM everywhere. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Thanks for stopping by, bro. How about them Masters? I mean, that was the first Masters I fully watched all the way through. It was pretty cool. I thought Thursday was like the best day of golf I ever seen, and then they kind of slowed it down. It was still really cool, but like Thursday was that was awesome. Just seeing like all the balls just fly off the green every time and stuff. That was I don't know. It was really fun to watch. Number 3, leg AR Adam. Hey, what's up, Fancy Dog? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Have a great show, Hartman, and God bless you. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it, pre-bunk now informant. Hey, we were debating a little bit, but it's all in good faith, hopefully. So yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Um, All right, so here we start with Amon-Ra. Like I was saying, maybe I do go more the 0 RB. I have a ton of neighbors. I love neighbors. I, I don't really think it's much of a debate, but obviously it's really just the injury risk. If you're a little more like leaning towards a little bit more the favorable side on neighbors, I think you're, assuming he's back week 1 or early in the year. He did have his ACL tear really early in the season last year. So I think to me, it's just how much do you worry about the injury? And like, I if you're not factoring it in too much, then I think Neighbors is a really easy click in the second round. I think he's more comparable to like these first round guys than he is to like a Nico or maybe Rice, but Rice has some other question marks. Um, but I just think Neighbors, assuming he is ready for week 1, which is a pretty big assumption, um, I just think he's giving you upside that no one else can give you in this range. And, is debatable with the top tier guys, right? Like, what is Justin Jefferson's true upside with Kyler? CD Lambs with Pickens there. Amon Ra kind of upside is his only like negative. He's like constantly the wide receiver 2 to 5, but never wide receiver 1, right? Um, but I think Neighbors could realistically beat any of these guys. It's really just how much are you worrying about the injury? Um, so yeah, I feel really good with that. That little double tap, start looking at running back soon after, but I'm not gonna worry as much about like advance rate pieces. I kind of want just like, maybe to make my team a little bit imbalanced or something now that I kind of started like this and kind of lean into that. That way I can have like some really huge strengths come the end of the year, and then I can kind of rely on maybe like just like those backup later on running back, classic like 0 RB strategy, right? You hope later in the year they kind of take over, injury happens, whatever, whatever. Um, but yeah, I think in this tournament that strategy fits pretty good, obviously, just given the structure of like you need to be like top 25 to get real money and you need to make the finals. But it's also a 4 out of 12 first round. So you have a really good shot of making it out of your pod, right? So I think that just leans itself to more 0, hero RB, stuff like that. Um, my thing, Jeff T, 35% of my teams finished second, 50% of my teams finished second in the scramble. Had some brutal luck this year. Well, hey, you don't know in the scramble yet. We still got the RBC for the scramble. So we got 1 week left. Unless you meant first round. I don't know if you meant first round maybe, but um could go Brees Hall for kind of my like I think I will go Brees Hall because I think what I like about him is his upside is a little bit questionable in that Jets offense. Like you see his touchdown numbers are pretty low, but I feel really good about his workload. And obviously he's a pretty big factor in the receiving game. I also don't mind betting on the Jets to be slightly improved this year. Their offensive line shaping up pretty good. Geno should be better than Fields. How true is that? Hard to say, but I just feel like I'm okay with betting on the Jets, and I feel like with no running back yet, Brees Hall gives me a really solid floor where I know he's getting consistent touches. And like I said, I worry a little about the upside, but at least I know I have like a locked in guy who's getting a heavy workload week in, week out. Maybe the Jets get blown out sometimes, so it's not a heavy workload that week, but he's a clear feature back week in, week out. And if the touchdowns do break a little bit more favorably for him or the Jets are just a little bit better, then he could be a pretty nice value at ADP, I think. You're getting Brees Hall, what, like RB 16 overall or something like that. Um, or RB 15 overall. So I don't think it's too crazy to think he could pay off that price. And it wouldn't take much of an improvement from the Jets overall offense to pay that off. I think here we'll get a little bit more Devonta Smith. We'll kind of the AJ Brown rumors, they kind of come and go, but I think I'm leaning more towards like personally believing that he'll get traded. So I do want to get a little bit more Devonta. And I think even if AJ Brown isn't traded, Devonta's price it's fair. It's maybe a little bit high priced. Like maybe he could go more towards the 4 or 5 turn if AJB's like confirmed staying there. But I think the upside you're getting of like the potential AJ Brown trade is worth, trying to get a little bit of a bag of Devonta for pre-draft stuff. Um, yeah, no, I got kind of cooked in the albatross. Well, I guess I didn't get cooked. It felt like it, but I looked at it like I got 7 out of 40, which I think is, like, right on regular advancement. It's just like when it's one tournament, you just lose like hella. It's kinda tough to see. But yeah, I think I got 7 out of 40 and then 1 little albatross out of, like, 4 I got through. I didn't do great in the albatross. Scramble right now, it's not looking great after the Masters. I'm gonna be real. Oh, we'll pull it up real quick, and I'll go back to the draft. I'll be back to the draft quick. Sorry for the slight PGA break. But yeah, albatross, we got 7, and then scramble, we got right now we're at 6 out of 25, which isn't bad because I think it's a 1 out of 5, right? So that's not, or no, it's a 1 out of 6. So I'm actually doing above expected for this. Um, but this week's kind of dicey. My top teams are kind of mixed and in like whether they have a good amount of covering the RBC or not. So my scrambles, I'm a little bit worried, but you got to see how the chips fall at this point. But yeah, the albatross I basically did like right at field. So kind of okay with it. Was hoping for a little bit better, but whatever. I went insanely hard on Patrick Reed and he kind of like fucked me on Sunday. I had like a dog shit day. I have a bunch of Haotong too, and he fucked me on Sunday too. It was yeah, it was a brutal Sunday, to be honest. I had a lot of Xander, so that was good, I guess, but, um, on the bright side, I have the only Xander Dietrich team that advanced. I really like sneaking that low drafted talented golfer with upside through the next rounds. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, that's something I haven't looked yet. I wanna see, like, once they actually go through what my percentages are to see, like, what players I do have a lot of or whatever. But no, for sure. I mean, getting that low owned combo through can mean a lot. Um All right, so here I could go like Rome and then plan for Caleb. Rome would be my fourth RB. Scadaboo or Tootin might be the better pick. But I think we go Rome. We set up the Caleb stack. If we don't get Caleb, then that's fine. I'll just take like a running back. I have a lot of like QB stacks a little bit later anyway. So even if I don't get Caleb, I'll just go away from receiver and probably lean running back, or maybe I take like Jaden Daniels if somehow he makes it, but Caleb doesn't, something like that. Um, yeah, we'll kind of see what makes it back. Looks like Paul might be going for Jaden at 62, I'm guessing, with Terry at 38. We'll see. He could also go Burrow, and if he wants a stack, that is. Um, we represent 20% of the Thomas Dietrich teams in the PGA Championship. We represent 20% of the, yeah, probably. I mean probably. I have a couple shares and I know you got a little bag of them, so we probably do because that's like a legit, like, I wouldn't, yeah, I'll have to check when, like, they advance or whatever. I wonder what his ownership was, like, first round. It was probably, like, it had to be pretty low. I guess he's kind of a known name, so maybe some people just clicked the name when they saw it. But yeah, for advancing ones, I mean, it's gotta be insanely low. Because a lot of people who picked him probably just, like, recognize the name and then, like, recognize the name, but then, like, they picked him for that, but then, like, those people might not be, they might have just been kinda more like fans into it, drafting it, and they might not have got out of the first round with their D tree lineups like you did. Hopefully I got some out of the first round. Same, I've got Neighbors as player 10. He's at the top of my queue every draft. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel that. Yeah, I'm like all in on Neighbors. I think I had like 15% it showed, but yeah, I'm like super in. And like all the reports so far have been good. Obviously, it's super early, they're not probably gonna like put a bunch of negative stuff on their guy this far out if they don't have to. But all the reports so far have been good, have been positive. So, I'm kind of rolling with it, and it should be like it was so early in the season and he's so young. I mean, like, from all the medical people and stuff, he should be good week 1. Obviously, probably a fall off in performance from, like, where he was last year, but if he's on the field playing week 1, then I feel great with the pick, even if he's a little bit slower for the first month or whatever. It's like, I just think the overall upside you're getting out of him just can't be matched in that round. at least at receiver, running backs maybe, but at receiver, I don't think anyone can really match him. Like Nico, maybe, but it feels hard with that Texans offense. And they have a decent amount of weapons. Obviously, Nico's the alpha, but Stroud can spread it around a little bit. It's not like their overall offense is that great. They got a little bit more running help. Um, yeah, I just feel like Neighbors, like no one can match his upside. Obviously, you're taking on a little bit more risk, but I think the upside's just insane. Um, will they drop more contests before draft? I think if this feels like middle of the week, I think they drop like one more of these because this drops Sunday night. It'll probably fill Thursday, like during the day, I'd imagine, because it's at like 55, I think it said. Yeah, it's at 56. It drops Sunday, like around 5 or 6 p.m., I think. Let me make this pick quick. So I don't mind Ramondre. Um, Yeah, I think I just go top RB available, start kind of building out that room a little bit more. I like Ramondre. He had a pretty good year last year, really good receiving, which might be kind of more of an outlier than like how he is going forward. Uh, but just getting pieces in a good offense, clearly he has a role. He is a little concerning for like late season, he might get overtaken by Trevion. But I think at least early season and getting points into my RB spot, I feel really good about Ramondre, at least to start the year and just throughout the year to be a threat on the goal line, to be just on a good offense as their probably goal line back and just kind of getting work in all facets of the game. Um, I don't mind Ramondre there just to, get a little bit of that floor. He's only my second RB. Yeah, his price seems pretty fair to me. I do think you run a lot of risk of like late season him kind of falling off though, which is a little worrying, but you never really know how it'll go. Like last year, he did get injured and then Trevion had the big explosion, but once he came back, he kind of, took a pretty good roll back again. So yeah, I don't mind Ramondre there. Uh Wicks Hollywood means AJ is out, I believe. That's what I think too. I mean, I've been operating under the assumption like he's gone, but like, I have AJ Brown, Drake May stacks, of course. But yeah, I've been operating under the assumption that he's gone. So, we'll see, but it seems like all signs are kind of pointing to that. Other than the GM said he's not for trade, blah blah blah. But I don't know how much I believe a GM talking right now. This time of year. So I think we'll go Rico here. Kind of same thing. Top RB. I like him actually. Like probably more than Warren. I do think, obviously he's going to get less pass catching work than Warren does. Warren excels as a pass catcher. But I think as far as like goal line touches, Rico's probably better suited for that. And just Rico's shown that like single week upside. He's shown, back to back 1,000-yard rushers. He can kind of carry a decent workload, even though he is a little undersized. Um, I don't know. I just really believe in Dowdle in Pittsburgh, and I think I do kind of want to buy into the Pittsburgh pieces either way. Because if Rodgers is back and McCarthy's there, then I think their play volume is probably going up pretty significantly from where they were with R.D. Smith. Um, and yeah, and I just think Dowdle could have a really nice role on the goal line, and just in general, I think he could maybe overtake Warren as like the kind of between the 20s rusher as well, which is like a less valuable role, but I think he might get more work there and then also be the goal line back where Warren kind of gets more passing game work and maybe they do split the rushing, but I think it gives Dowdle a decent role with some good upside. And I think Pittsburgh is an offense that is maybe a little bit undervalued. Obviously, a lot of it hinges on Rodgers actually has to come back and not retire. But I think with the Mike McCarthy offense, that's going to make a pretty big difference. Um, BB Golf, only 10 entry teams advanced, 2% drafted. For someone who's top 60 in the world, that's just too low. Oh, you're talking about, wait, does BB Golf have Albatross too? Are you talking about Scramble? Oh, it does have the Albatross. I didn't even know they had that on there. Dang, that's pretty sick. I didn't know they added Albatross on there. I only knew about the Scramble one. All right. So here I could look at another receiver, could look at a quarterback. Oh wow, Jared Goff goes. We'll just go Kyler Murray on stacked. because a lot of my stacks kind of dried up. Um, I'm interested to see where Goff went. He probably went to the JMO drafter, I'm guessing. Wow, Goff went at so 95. Oh, Gibbs, JMO, Laporta, all stacked up. So, fair enough. I'm fine with Kyler on stacked. There's not really many great options for him later, I guess. But oh, we went ahead and sniped Paul too while we were there. But you can get Jordan Love with your Tucker Craft. So my bad about that fall. I just grabbed the first on stack quarterback I could find. That's pre-draft for you. Uh my bad. My bad on the snipe. Um, but yeah, I think Kyler though as an on-stat quarterback makes a lot more sense than any of these other guys. Baker's maybe a little bit easier to backstack. But I think Kyler just with the rushing upside, you don't really feel too bad having him solo like that. Where some of the other guys you probably want a little bit more stacking with them if you can get it. Uh, but yeah, yeah, had to snipe Paul real quick on that one. Um, all right. So I think I go fourth running back here. I think the way they've fallen, wow, James Conner at 110. Wow, that's a pull up. What's was that on purpose or did you have him like cute or something? I mean, because like I think James Conner is a fine pick, but that's pretty aggressive. Um yeah, that's pretty aggressive. Or I just had him in shambles when I sniped the Kyler, maybe. See. This means war. Hell yeah. Yeah. My bad, Paul. My bad. But but hey, I got the outside track, so I'll just keep an eye. I only need one more quarterback. So as long as I can get that before you, then I'm all set. You got anyone? CJ Stroud, come on down. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But I think Kyler does make sense on stack, but yeah, my bad, Paul. Is Bucky gone in Tampa Bay? I think so. I wouldn't think so just because, like, I would think they're trying to contend and he's really cheap. He's still on the rookie deal for 2 more years, right? I would be really surprised if they got rid of Bucky just because they have him for 2 more years of team control. They only brought in Gainwell. It's not like I mean, Gainwell's fine, but it's not like they brought in like Travis Achan or like Brees Hall or Ken Walker or something. I'd be surprised if they moved Bucky unless they got like a real nice haul or something like that. I'd be really surprised if he left. Time to smoke. Hey, what's up, Nick Bog? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate it. Time to poke. Time to poke. There we go. There we go. All right, I need to focus up. I think we go Omar Cooper here. I would be fine with. McMillan would also be fine. Shakir, eh. Could take Kittle also. Let's go Omar Cooper. Should get first round draft capital going all the way in the 120s. I think that's a pretty good price for a projected first round receiver. And his stock, if anything, has been rising like steadily, right? Like now his consensus is moving kind of more into the 20s where you see a guy like Boston kind of falling into that like round 1 or like round 2 range. You kind of see Cooper moving up. I think 128 for a guy that is heavily projected to go in the first round, like, not even he's getting more projections now, like mid first. I think that's a great bet at 128. And as my fifth receiver, I kind of have the volume early to handle a rookie back here, right? So yeah, no, I think his price, Casey Conception's price, and Boston's been falling a little, so he's a little bit hard to say. Like maybe he does fall in the real draft too. Um, but it seems like those guys who are more likely than not first rounders are really good values back here. Um, all right. So I think here wouldn't mind Aaron Jones, kind of get another. Oh, and Jalen McMillan goes too. Could go Kenyon Sadiq or Likely. That would be fine. I think we just go Aaron Jones, lock up some more running back points. Yeah, I think we just go Aaron Jones. So now at least I feel pretty solid about my floor, and then that was also stacked with my Kyler. But I feel pretty solid with my like floor with Ramondre, Rico, and Aaron Jones, and obviously Brees Hall up top. But it's like I have 3 guys in committees where I feel like Rico and Aaron Jones can pretty realistically be the RB1 in their committee. I think Ramondre, he was last year. I have a hard time envisioning him like holding on to that this year, but he looked good last year. It was, one of the better years of his career, especially as a receiver. But I think all 3 of these guys are in timeshares where I could see them being the lead guy either as the season goes or early in the season. So I think that gives me good floor. And even if they're not the lead guy, it is more of a split or they're the more secondary guy. At least I'm getting touches from 4 out of my 5 guys, like pretty much guaranteed if they're healthy. So that makes me feel pretty solid at RB, even though I kind of waited other than Brees. But yeah, I think I feel pretty solid there. Probably start looking at tight end. Like I wouldn't mind Mark Andrews if he comes back, but I'll kind of see what makes it. I never draft QBs that can't have their offensive linemen. It's a pretty fair rule of thumb. Those guys don't have the best success rate. I'll give you that much, Jeff. Yeah, for life. What's up, brother Hartman? The stream title ADP is a myth. Agree. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for stopping by. And if you don't know, check out Gab for Life. Let me give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, Andrews, like I was saying, we'll just go with the tight end here. Andrews feels good. But if you don't know, check out Gab for Life. Check out Nick Bocklage. Check out Nice and Blunt. Yeah, check all those guys out if you don't know. Who Hames, sup fam? Hey, what's up? Check out Who Hames. He's streaming every day. He probably just got off a stream with Zero Fucks. Um, but yeah, check all those guys out if you don't know. I'm sure you already do. But yeah, so I'll actually go over the team real quick. I haven't done it in a minute. So I have a 2-5-5-1 right now. Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Brees Hall, Ramondre, Rico Dowdle, Jadarian Price, Aaron Jones, Amon-Ra, Malik Neighbors, Devonta Smith, Romo Dunze, Omar Cooper Jr., and Mark Andrews. Feel pretty solid with this team. I think I built out RB decent. QB feels fine. Probably stack on a late guy. Receiver feels good. Probably start looking at receiver again here. Wouldn't mind Jawan. Yeah, wouldn't mind Jawan get a second tight end. Okay, so Paul gets him. Damn, shouldn't have said that. But yeah, no, that was a good pick. That was only his second tight end. I really like Jawan's value. I think he goes a little bit too late. There's a lot of good tight ends late though. I wouldn't mind getting a little bit more Chig. Hunter Henry's pretty safe. Wouldn't mind Diggs either. I have a lot of Diggs, but I think he's just way too underpriced right now. Yeah. We'll let it go Diggs. We'll let it go Diggs. I think he's just way too cheap right now. I do have a lot of them already, but I don't know. I just think he's way too cheap. Whenever he signs, he's definitely moving up. Um the legal stuff doesn't seem to be much of a concern. That's already kind of the initial phase of that already kind of passed. Doesn't seem like too much of a concern. And he put up over 1,000 yards last year coming off a torn ACL. He's not getting any younger, but I just think wherever he signs that kind of production, like, you're not gonna get that same exact production, obviously, depending where he signs. But I just think he's proven, he can still play. He's not like washed and going in the 150s. If a team's going to sign him to have a legitimate role, then I think that's just too late. I forgot that my pick was up in 2 right after Love. LOL. Probably should adjust that Connor ranking since it's only happened 10 times to me already. Fair enough. Yeah, no, see, that's why I personally don't use rankings. And like I'm being serious too. Like, cause the rankings, they just mess me up. And like you're doing your own, so maybe it does like help you because the guys don't like change as much. But like wherever you personally have them ranked probably doesn't change a ton unless some new news happens or whatever. But but yeah, like to me, I feel like they just kind of like throw me off. I feel like going off ADP is just the easiest way to draft. But that's for me. But like I don't know. I can definitely see the validity in putting out your own or like doing your own rankings for your drafts too, because like you also don't want to be the like missing the guy and you're because I've done that too where it's like a big riser and it's like, oh, I don't have rankings, I just go ADP and I'm like, oh shit, forgot to pull him up. You know, he's going 2 rounds higher than ADP right now. Should have pulled him up, should have pulled him up, right? So like I think it can burn me a little the opposite way, but yeah, that happens to me too much with rankings where I just have a guy too high and then I just pick them like around earlier than I needed to, or I don't know. I feel like it's just easier with the ADP, but they both definitely have their benefits and like benefits and downfalls. All right, so we'd go Hawkinson here if we can to stack them up. Yeah, so we'll definitely do that. We go Hawkinson. Um, QB is kind of cooked. You know, we might be. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe like later, like around 18 or something. We'll kind of see what makes it, but it's a little cooked. I wouldn't hate stopping at Caleb and Kyler. I feel like it's kind of soft. And obviously in 2026, you always draft 3 QBs no matter what. Um, but Caleb Kyler would be okay enough to stop at. It does feel maybe a little bit fragile, but I think that's fine if I really don't like any of the options I have. Um, I think here I'm probably gonna look at I don't know, I could look at tight end. Tight end would be fine. Um, yeah, tight end, I was actually thinking about Bigsby. Paul gets some. Could go don't mind Singleton. Yeah, I'll probably just go Rodgers though. I think I just pull Rodgers up. It's only like a round ahead and we're around 16, so don't really care about the ADP. And I guess, like I said earlier, I guess I shouldn't have been following ADP as much. I guess I was kind of lying with the title about reaching on guys. I forgot all about that. I just went straight up ADP ass draft. That's my bad. I will be doing another, and I'll try to make some actual polls. There's not actual polls, but actual like pull some guys up sometimes. I'm just going like ADP ass draft. Uh, where was I? Omar Cooper being heavily tied to the Jets at 16. That's enough for me to hit the brakes. Hey, that's fair enough. But 16th overall draft capital is pretty nice. But that is it's tough. Like I said earlier, though, I don't mind betting on the Jets a little bit. But if they add another receiving weapon, it's probably gonna be pretty hard for him to eat. And like Garrett Wilson and Brees, someone's gonna get left out. Probably gonna be Omar. Yeah, the Jets are a scary spot, and the Browns are a scary spot to me. The Jets are probably worse because you got Garrett Wilson right in your way, right? So yeah, it Jets would be a rough spot. I think he still is a fine pick at 128 though. Like if he's getting picked at 16th overall, I don't know. I think 128 is fine. I do get what you're saying though. Like Jets offense, that's kind of a tough buy. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's probably the worst spot. Maybe the Browns if they had like a second guy also, but the Browns are at least more open to have like a true number one kind of take over. Where like the Jets, it's like, yeah, you're kind of screwed because you're not the number one and the offense kind of sucks. Um, yeah, not ideal. Not ideal if that's the case. I like the Goddard, Andrews, Juwan 3 stack if waiting late. I like that one. Yeah, I like all three of those guys. Yeah, I like all three of those guys because let me make this pick. Wouldn't mind Singleton. Could grab a third tight end here. Oh, yeah, we shout out Meg, shout out Fanspeak. We go with the Fryermuth Rogers stack. Shout out Meg. Um, classic Fanspeak maneuver. Pull up Rogers to round 16, get Fryermuth at 200. Perfection. This team's winning for sure. But no, I actually do like that stack. Super cheap, taking a little risk with Rodgers retiring, but super cheap. And if he's back, I think it's insane value. He's almost free. Um, I agree. I think that's a really good stack. I usually will do like, where does Goddard go? 11th? Yeah, I'm overweight Goddard. I don't mind that. I usually will either pull from the Laporta Pitts craft tier, or I'll wait until this, like, Brenton Strange, Mark Andrews range, Juwan Johnson, but I am overweight Goddard. I don't mind Ferguson either, but I do agree Goddard's probably the best tight end in this range. Um, and yeah, and I think he's a good pick, especially if you're factoring in, like, if you think AJB's gone, I mean, that's a huge boost to his role that, it doesn't feel like it's being priced in enough. So we'll take Jeremy here. Kind of same thing. His draft stock's been trending up, if anything. Seems like he's kind of a lock for the second round now, maybe early second even. And yeah, kind of same thing. He's a slot guy, so hopefully he can get on the field right away. But just guys with their capital moving up, whose stock looks like it's kind of rising until the draft. It's just so hard to say. Like, it's so much about what team drafts them and how they fit in. But I don't mind taking shots on guys who this late in the process, it seems like their stock's going up or they're already in a good spot where the draft capital at least makes this bet at this pick worth it, right? If I'm assuming Jeremy's going like top 50 in the draft, I think 209 is, easy pick if he's going that high. Obviously, maybe he goes to the Browns as their second receiver in this draft, and then you're like, oh shit, it's even, what's he even gonna do? But I don't mind taking the bet on these guys who, like, seems like their stock's rising. Um This roster construction is reminiscent of Byzantine iconoclasm. Um, Give me a second. I've never heard that word in my life. Um, Two periods of history when they use religious images was opposed by religious and imperial authorities. Oh no, it's the deliberate destruction of a culture's own religion. That's not what the what the fuck. What do you mean, Jeff? This team's nasty. Let's take One Eye Najee Harris on here. Give me some even more floor at that RB spot. Jadarian Price, I need all the upside just out of you, buddy. Um, Not sure if I should take him Big Naj. I was looking up Byzantine iconoclasm. Because I didn't know what the hell that meant. But maybe I'm just a little bit slow. Uh, yeah, never heard that term before. That's a pretty tough critique though, if I'm reading this right. Um, your QB room is cotton candy and the rain soft. Okay, see, that makes more sense to me. There we go. Um, yeah, I mean, if you're of the opinion Kyler sucks at football, oh, and if you're saying soft, okay, soft, yeah, yeah. No, my team's soft. I mean, we got Kyler Murray, 5'8", Caleb Williams paints his nails, Aaron Rodgers, he's in a cave doing ayahuasca right now. Yeah, none of these guys are ready to take the field right now. Um, Fuck is Rashad? When did Rashad Bateman move up? Um, Chicago, Minnesota, Pitt. Not really any stacking options. I think I just go best receiver available. Let's pick a rookie. Antonio Williams. Fuck. Got Troy Franklin. Terrible pick. Terrible pick. Auto drafted it. Was looking for a rookie. Sad day. I will be doing another. I Let me know if anyone has a preference. I can either do like one or I can multi-table. I could do like 3 at once. I'd be fine with that. If anyone has a preference, just doing one or doing like 3, let me know. I'll do either one. Uh, you know, Probably just go with whatever the first suggestion is. Uh, Fair enough though. Cotton candy soft in the rain. I can see it. I can see the vision. Back to the Bucky stuff. If Gainwell handles third down and Tucker the goal line, isn't Bucky greatly overranked? Yes. I guess to me, I think Bucky is being heavily underrated as a receiver in that sense. Like, Gainwell is more of a compiler. Gainwell's a good receiver. That's not to say he's a bad receiver. Gainwell's a good receiver, but Bucky's like more efficient than him, like yards per route run. And Bucky was ultra efficient last year before he got hurt. I worry more about the goal line stuff. That really worries me. I think his passing game workload will be okay because like when we can look at Bucky's stats real quick. And then we'll get in I'll look at these actually I'll look at these teams quick. And then we'll look at the Bucky stuff real quick, then we'll get in some more drafts. So I'll look at mine and Paul's quick. So I went 360, and if I don't think anyone else is in here, but if you were, let me know. I'll check out yours. 3683, Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Brees Hall, Ramondre Stevenson, Rico Dowdle, Jadarian Price, Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, Amon Ra, Malik Neighbors, Devonta Smith, Romo Dunze, Omar Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Jeremy Bernard, Troy Franklin, Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, Pat Fryermuth. I think it feels okay overall. QB feels fine to me. Caleb and Kyler, that's decently strong up top. Rodgers should give me some floor, hopefully, as long as he plays. Brees Hall, kind of my hero RB. But then I get some good floor with some upside potential with like Rico, Ramondre, Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price, more just upside, who knows. Aaron Jones, some upside and some floor. Najee, hopefully some floor. But I think that's layered out okay. It maybe lacks a little bit of upside at RB, but I think it's solid enough to at least give me a solid weekly floor. And there's some upside if these guys come out in like the better half of their tandem or whatever injury happens in their favor, whatever. RB looks okay, at least solid floor. Amon-Ra, Neighbors, Devonta, Rome, Omar Cooper. I feel really good with my receiver room. I think my top four are really, really strong. And then, I got some good upside with Omar, Jeremy. I think Diggs is a really good price right now. Troy Franklin, even though that was an accident, he is a little bit of like a spike week guy, I guess. He could be theoretically. So don't mind that too much as my last round click, actually, looking back. But I feel like receiver is really strong. Tight end, Andrews, Hawkins, and Pat Fryermuth. A little bit weak. But hopefully Andrews, he gives me a little bit of touchdown upside in general. And then Fryermuth might have some upside that's like, I think he goes way too cheap being the only tight end there, really. They do have Darnell Washington, but he's not much of a receiver. Hawkinson, that was more just for the stack, but hopefully they do have a little bit of a resurgence kind of with a real quarterback in Minnesota. Overall, I think I feel pretty good with this team. It maybe lacks a little bit of upside, just kind of all around, except at receivers is probably my biggest gripe. Maybe I should have like pulled a little more capital away from running back or something and tried to put it in at QB or tight end to be a little bit stronger at those positions. And then kind of accept more of a weakness at running back. Maybe that would have been a little bit better, but I don't mind the team overall. Feels okay. And let's see what Paul did. 2963. Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love. Totally fine stopping at 2. You got an elite. Jordan Love feels fine, consistent. Scattaboo, James Conner, Rashad White, Emmett Johnson, Tyjae Spears, Tank Bigsby, Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, Ollie Gordon. Obviously there's a lot of risk here because you don't know a lot of these guys' roles, right? But like I think Scattaboo, I'm pretty big on Scattaboo too. So hopefully there's no Jeremiah Love, and that's a great pick. You kind of got your hero. James Conner, should have a decent role. Like, yeah, Rashad White should have a decent role. Tyjae should, if there's no Love, or if there is Love, hopefully they get rid of Pollard. He still plays a little. I worry a little bit, I guess, about your floor since those are the only 3 guys probably getting weekly touches guaranteed. But you got some rookies, hopefully they get a good landing spot. I think you got enough darts to maybe make it pan out, but obviously you're taking a little bit of a risk at running back. Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, DK, Khalil Shakir. I think that's fine. Obviously, like only 6, so that's a little bit thinner, but I think Shakir at the end just gives you some floor. Kind of just guys you feel good about week to week. T. Higgins maybe a little inconsistent, but the other guys are all like the clear one on their team. I think that feels fine with 6, maybe a little soft. Kraft, Jawan Parkinson, love the tight end room. I think it's solid overall. I think your receiver room's strong enough, and you're really just hoping, like, it's kind of a classic, like, zero or later hero RB, like modified anchor, whatever they call it. Where, like, you just need one of these later guys to kind of pan out, and then your team could be really, really strong, right? Because you're strong at QB, strong at tight end, strong at receiver. It's just a little thinner, but strong with the top guys. So yeah, if one of these later guys pans out, then this team could be like super strong. I think I like the build overall. I think you played it pretty well. You only went with 2 QBs, so you get a little bit more running back help. I think you built it out pretty well, all in all. Yeah, I like it. Ooh, all right. So I'll catch up with you guys and then we'll hop into another. Um, oh yeah, yeah, but so with the Bucky stuff, yeah, I just think he's a little bit underrated as a pass catcher. And like you look at his like yards per out run. Oh yeah, I said we were gonna look at Bucky. So we'll actually look at Bucky really quick over here. Let me show it. Share this tab instead. Okay. See, like, I just think when we look at Bucky, like, you look at his early season receiving, 4 for 4, 8 yards, not great. 6 for 6 for 50, 4 for 4 for 34, 5 for 5 for 102. Like, he had some really nice receiving numbers. And basically, the other thing I wanted to really point out too is like on the lower volume when he came back, like 52%, 49%, 54%, 63%, he was still in the teens for carries. And this is coming off that ankle and shoulder injury. I guess where I have such a hard time with Bucky is I think he's a little bit undervalued in the receiving aspect, where Gainwell's a good receiver, but I think Bucky, you can actually argue, is a better receiver than Gainwell, or at least on par at the very least. Um, but I think the goal line stuff, it's really hard for me to tell whether that's more a factor of like his injury and maybe later in the year them not wanting to put him in that role. But he did get a lot of touches, so that doesn't maybe make a ton of sense. But the goal line stuff can be more grindy and all that, and he did have the like shoulder injuries. Like it's tough. I wonder because like when he was a rookie, he led the Buccaneers in goal line carries. That's the thing. He led the Buccaneers at his rookie year. So I feel like last year could be somewhat fluky in that sense because of the injuries, but I feel like it's just so hard to know with the goal line role. I do feel like his receiving is pretty undervalued though. Um, or we can go back here actually. But yeah, I do feel like his receiving is a little bit undervalued. Like when we look at Bucky, did you draft Terry on Stewart? Um, one second, sorry. All right, so I don't know. Just looking at this tab, like his efficiency as a receiver. Where do I see his efficiency as a receiver? Oh yeah, like his yards per route run 1.67. I mean, that's pretty respectable, and that's also factoring in all the weeks where he was injured. And then even when we look as a rookie, 1.97, 10th in the NFL. I think that Bucky is like, and then we can look at Gainwell too. And obviously, yards per outrun isn't like the only metric that matters. But I just wanted to point that out because it's more of an efficiency metric where Gainwell did get a lot of receiving volume last year. And he was a good, 1.59, but that is not as good as Bucky as a rookie. And I feel like so Bucky had 1.67 last year, which was better than Gainwell, obviously on a little bit limited of a sample. And in 2024, he had 1.97. So like both years he's been better than Gainwell yards per out run wise. And then last year I think it's hard for to compare the volume really just because of the injuries. Bucky missed so many games. And came back. Who knows how much that was affecting him, obviously. But I think Bucky's pretty underrated as a receiver. I do think the goal line stuff is what's really hard for me to like decipher. Obviously, like their new OC, Zach Robinson, he's talked pretty glowingly about Bucky, but kind of all OCs do that with whoever the new guys were. So I don't know. I have a little bit of a tough time there, but I do think he's a little bit undervalued as a receiving weapon for sure. Goal line is tough. He's undersized. It's always gonna be harder for him to get goal line. But if he is their best running back, I don't know. I don't know. It is a little bit tough in that sense. But I do think receiving wise he could pay off. And he is RB like 18 in the drafts too. I think that's one other thing. Like he's being drafted as a mid-range RB2. So it's like how much do you really need if he's getting high teens carries on like 50 something percent snaps? What do you really need for him to pay off? Which if he's not getting goal line might be a lot. And that's fair. And I can see the fade for sure. But I'm a little bit more willing to be in on him and think the goal line will be a little more even. Um, and click Bucky once in the big board, similar sentiment, and that's fair. That's fair if you're not in. Um, for pre-draft, I make my own rankings before the contest drops, so I'm not biased by ADP. Then I only tweak it a bit after free agency. Combine is mostly noise to me. Oh wow, yeah, I mean that's really interesting process. If you feel like dialed in though beforehand, that seems perfectly fine. You just kind of adjust to like the free agency if there's any big changes or anything, and just any big news you adjust. But yeah, no, I mean, that seems good, and that seems like a way to kind of avoid getting swept up in all, like, the different news cycles and this and that, where, like, "Oh, I gotta chase this guy up the board this week, and, now I gotta fade this guy and get that guy." If you just have your own stuff set the whole way through, it's a lot easier to just stick to it and everything. Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's probably a pretty good process to do. First live, we're glad to catch it. Hey, what's up, Bukowski? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate it. Uh, Post draft, I'm so familiar with who I like and where they go usually that I don't need the rankings. I like to see ADP then to monitor the risers fallers throughout summer. Um, with who I like and where they go usually that I don't need the rankings. I like to see ADP. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of the same way. I guess I kind of do that the whole way, but like it definitely does burn me when I do my first couple drafts. Like I didn't stream when I was doing my first draft this year. And I don't usually like do super early big board. I did some really early this year, but I get in those and I get a little bit thrashed my first draft or two sometimes. I don't know where the players go. So that's not a bad idea. And then yeah, you are just so locked in like after the draft, you just kind of intuitively know like this guy goes in this range, this guy goes in this range, blah blah blah. That makes sense to me. That seems like a pretty good strategy in general. I was thinking about doing rankings, but then I don't know, they just kind of throw me off like I was saying, but I don't know. That seems like a good process though, especially if it works for you and you're pretty happy with that. That was a lot, just saying. I've drafted 9 RBs my last 2 drafts. 9 seeded, 1 hyper fragile, 1 with 5. You're going a little bit wild. Just do 1, sir. Um, all right. Yeah, we'll just do 1. I'll hop in one right now, or I'll count it down, and then I'll catch up with you guys in chat, or I'll finish catching up. So I'm just gonna hop in on my phone to make sure I'll count down. So I'm gonna hop in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and we're in, waiting on 4 for a UDFA. All right, waiting on 1, draft starting. Oh, I got a big board pick. All right, who do we take on this big board? Um, all right, we're in the draft. We can go to it. All right, so I got the 4. We got Fantasy Dog at the 6. Green Bean at the 9. Paul at the 12. So we got some friends and family in here. Love to see it. Love to see it. I'll try not to I'll try not to snipe Paul this time. At least we're a little further apart, so hopefully it doesn't happen. But yeah, no, love to see that. Some of the friends and family in the draft. Um, I like Trey Franklin that late. He had over 100 targets last year. He's not dead after Waddle trade. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. I guess I don't have hardly any Troy Franklin, 1.6%. But yeah, I mean, maybe his role could be a little bit more valuable than I may be thinking. Um, it's hard with the Broncos guys. They're so like inconsistent. But yeah, in the 20th round, why not take a guy who could maybe spike in a single week? I can definitely see that. And I guess I didn't even realize he had 100 targets. Uh, but he was kind of cooking like at little stretches during last season. Yeah, not a bad pick late. Wish I would have done it on a team with like some correlation or something. Probably my little shares that I do have are with like Bo Nix or something. Um, Usually I'd lean more towards that for like correlation, but no, you make a good point. I mean, he probably does have some value, and he could spike. He has the archetype to be able to spike in a single week. Wow, great take on Bucky. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I don't know if it is. All right, I said ADP doesn't matter. So ADP doesn't matter. I think we just let's go Ashton Genty. I like the Raiders this year. I think that the Raiders are going to be an improved offense. They got Kirk too, which makes me feel a lot safer. I'm not sure if people really agree with that. But I feel like that just makes me feel a lot safer about their early season production. They can kind of ease Mendoza in, Kirk might be a little bit washed, but he at least showed he can put up some stats last year on the Falcons. I think that just makes me feel a lot safer with them. Obviously, I wouldn't go Genty at 4 all the time, but I did say ADP is a myth in the title, and I didn't do it at all last draft, so figured we'd do it a little here. And I do think it's a pretty viable pick taking him over Taylor and McCaffrey. He just hasn't shown it yet. But when you look at Genty's receiving workload, I think it's pretty clear he can make it. 55 catches last year, 266 carries, so 310 touches as a rookie. Hopefully that could even be going up. I feel really good about their offense. Their offense can't be worse with Clint Kubiak and Mendoza and Kirk. I just can't imagine if it's worse, then I just lose the money. Fair enough. But there's no way that offense can be worse than last year. And just also some of the offensive line issues. Hopefully they've kind of shored that up. Obviously, they got that the center from the Ravens. But and then they had some injuries too. Like I think Colton Miller got hurt last year. Some guys got moved around last year, like what's the guy's name? JPJ. The guy they moved from tackle to guard. So there was just a lot of stuff going on with their O-line last year. And hopefully that's a little bit better. And just with the Kubiak system, getting Kirk in there, getting Mendoza in there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling decent buying into Genty or Bowers. Not as much into the elite tight ends this year. But yeah, but I don't mind Bowers' price. I could stack them up. I could stack them up. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a Raiders stack. I don't think I have a single one of these in my portfolio. Oh, actually we can check. Um do I have any Ashton Genty with Brock Bowers? No, 0%. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought I would have that combo. So, unique combo for me, get the double LV. I'm not sure if I really want to double stack them in the first 2 rounds usually, but I was just talking up LV or Vegas that whole time, so we'll take the little double. Um, Probably wouldn't recommend doing that too often, to be honest. Might be not quite good enough of an offense to support 2 first round picks on the same team. One of them's a tight end. That might make the roster construction a little bit harder. So here, wouldn't mind Rice, Olave, Pickens would be fine. Pretty low on Pickens. Pickens is a tough one because I think he's probably worth the cost, but I'm really worried about the holdout stuff. Like if he does hold out, um, I think let's just get a little bit more Pickens though, and then because I think where he goes is perfectly fine if he's healthy there at the start of camp. I think we feel fine with his price, or at least I do. It's just really the risk of holdout, just the risk of him falling kind of later. But it's not like this contest will be open later anyway, so I don't know how much that really would matter if he is the guy you need. Um, but but yeah, he just worries me a little with some holdout stuff off the field, I guess. I don't know if you call it off the field or not, but just the holdout stuff, all that worries me a little on Pickens. And it is a pretty high price. Olave is a lot cleaner of a bet probably, unless they draft someone in the first round. Olave is probably a lot cleaner bet than Pickens is. Um, you say Jeremiah Love is the hero. I say Hartman is the real hero. Appreciate it, Jeff. Because I'm soaking up all the Bucky Irving, so you don't have to. No, I'm soaking up all the Jonathan Brooks, so you don't have to. Did you draft Terrion Stewart? No, Terrion Stewart. What is he? Is he a Oh, he's a rookie. No, I've never drafted Terrion Stewart. Why is he? Is he the GOAT, or is that who you thought I drafted when I drafted Troy Franklin? Wide receiver for wide receiver numbers. Oh, that must have been the Bucky and Gainwell thing. Terrion isn't motivated. LOL. All of them by Ayuk are motivated. But did you watch him? Hey, Ayuk is motivated. The Niners are just screwing him. He wants to go play with his boy Jaden Daniels. Um, but no, yeah, the Ayuk stuff is it sounds pretty dicey. Sounds like maybe he didn't want to get in there for the rehab, and Niners weren't too happy about that. Ooh, we could go Colston Loveland double elite. Do a little double elite tight end. That'd be disgusting. Let's go Let's go with Terry. I feel like Terry just gives me kind of more safety, more floor than probably JMO does on a weekly basis. Probably more than Waddle does. Maybe that's a little bit hard to say. Hard to say with Waddle what his role will be exactly. But I think Terry gives me at least a little bit more safety than those guys on a week to week basis. I think I kind of need that with like the elite tight end just being a little bit thinner at receiver. Obviously, Pickens Terry's a fine start, but I'm gonna have to also look at running back soon. So I don't want to I'd rather get a little bit safer wide receiver too there. Um, but I think that feels fine. Probably look at receiver again on this turn. I would have taken Bucky at 45 if he made it, but he didn't. He didn't. I know Bucky seems to be pretty hated right now. I'm like I was a little scared to say this before, but I'm like super in on Bucky. I have 15%, which not super crazy, but if he's like a later 4th round pick in like post draft, um oh, okay, cool. I think I just take Waddle. I'll take a little Faller. Obviously, I have a lot more Devontae. Devontae's one of my favorite receivers here. But I don't see Waddle fall too much. The hype's pretty crazy, and I don't mind his price. So we'll get a little bit more there. Get him as my wide receiver 3. That feels pretty good. Opens up Bo Nix later. Um, but yeah, I like that there. Waddle a little bit harder for me to project, but and I think for anyone on Denver, obviously, but I think falling a little, he doesn't really fall much, and he does have good upside. Denver's really good offense. They gave up a lot to get him, so yeah, I don't mind him there. Get a little bit more exposure. Um, oh yeah, yep, good stuff for sure. Bayuk, how did I miss your lobby? I don't. It filled quick. It was like +5, and then Fancy Dog and Paul and Green Bean's in here. I don't know, Green Bean. I don't know if Green Bean's watching the stream or not, but Green Bean's in the draft. Yeah, I don't know. It filled quick though. It filled in like 2 seconds. The UDFA's are going fast. I when I opened the stream, I like looked at the percent. It was at like 55. It's at 58 now. Like this thing's just ripping. You can barely like get in a room. If you were doing it with your buddy offline, you might miss it. You know what I mean? This thing's ripping. Uh, Worth going for it with the Raider stack. Yeah, why not try it, right? And what's up, Nice and Blunt? Thanks for dropping by, brother. Appreciate it. Check out Nice and Blunt if you don't know, of course. Um, he streams, multiple times a week. Stewart just a 6th, 7th round rookie. I don't hate. Hmm, all right. I'd consider throwing him on. I love me some rookies in the 19th, 20th round. So if you throw me a rookie name, I might just have to put him on a team or two. Hey, what's up, Green Bean? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Oh yeah, and actually let's see what everyone else is doing here real quick. We got Paul, Saquon, Henry, like that on the turn, kind of get a unique combo, big dog and Saquon at the at the 1-2 turn. Who would ever thought you'd see that? A couple years ago. But yeah, I think that feels solid. I have a ton of Saquon. Big dog's always a good pick. Higgins, Kyron, Judkins, Burrow, Higgins, Burrow stack. Start building out your receivers a little bit now, or maybe in a round or two, whatever. But yeah, no, that's a nice start. Running back room's insane. Got the Higgins Burrow stack. Yeah, and really nice start. 141. I'll keep an eye how you build out of that. Um, so I saw Dak go Jaden Hurts. Could go Drake May. I wouldn't mind Marvin Harrison. I might let it auto Marvin Harrison. I think I will. I'll let it auto Marvin Harrison. I want a little bit more. I've said before, I'm not very into the whole Arizona passing attack. I think their volume goes down a ton this year. They kind of signaled that signing Algier, and just in general, that passing volume's unsustainable. They were the heaviest pass rate team in the league last year. I think it's unsustainable. I do kind of have a fade on all Arizona pass catchers, but if I'm gonna bet on any of them, I think it's Marvin Harris. Marvin Harrison kind of at this lower price. The breakout potential maybe could still be there. I don't know. I just in general want to be lower on the Arizona passing attack, but I think I do want to get at least a nice little blanket of Marvin Harrison, just in case he does have that year 3 breakout. He was supposed to be one of the best, like, receiver prospects in years or, like, best since Chase, right? And, so far hasn't really panned out. He had some injuries last year, though. He's shown the ability to spike in a single week as well, which I think is pretty big. Like, he has some single weeks that are really big, even in his rookie year. So I think that makes him worth the risk at 69 sometimes. But it'll probably be a little bit lower exposure in general. Would have liked Drake May. I thought about him on the last pick, but not getting him is fine. Um, I really don't like Chuba, but I'll get a little bit of Chuba. Why not? He just goes here. I have 2%. I really wanted to go running back. I would have maybe leaned Ramondre, but I went Ramondre last draft, so I was thinking maybe something different. Um, Maybe that would have been a good spot to kind of reach. I could have reached and got like Rico or Algier or something. Um, but I'll get a little Chuba. I'm really not a very big believer, but I am a believer that I want the Dave Canales like starting running back. I think he has a pretty good system for his running backs. And, Jonathan Brooks coming off double torn ACLs, Trevor Etienne didn't do anything as a rookie. Obviously, he could have some upside maybe this year. He was a fourth round pick, but I'll get a little bit of Chuba. Not super happy about it, but I kind of need a running back. Didn't want to go Ramondre twice in a row. It is what it is. He's fine. In theory, he's the RB1 on the Panthers, which I think is a spot I kind of want. And if Brooks doesn't really pan out, then Chuba has a pretty good runway to, have a nice workload. But getting taken over by Rico midseason, not the greatest look to be taking him in the 7th round this year. So let's check out what's Green Bean doing. So it's Lamb, Hampton, Travis Achan, Javante, Romo Dunze, Dak Prescott, Jacoby Myers. Like that a lot. Super balanced. Kind of got not really a hero wide receiver, but the first round receiver, 3 straight RBs. So just your strong room, got your flex covered with RB, then get Rome and Jacoby, fill out your receivers. Oh, and Jacoby T loss, you're kind of setting that up. I like that. I think you're building really good so far. Really balanced build so far. And then let's check out Fantasy Dog. JSN, Neighbors, Zay Flowers, Mike Evans, Cam Scatabo, RJ Harvey, Dart. Like that. You did the double with the Giants. Hold up Flowers a little, but I don't mind that. I think especially once Olave goes, it's like a really giant tier where, Flowers is a fine pick there. I'm up on the clock. Bo Nix, pretty easy pick here, I think. Could go Rico, but I think we go Bo Nix. A couple of these guys don't have or just one doesn't have a quarterback. This guy only has one though. I didn't see where Sutton went. Oh, Sutton went to the guy with no quarterbacks. So I definitely had to take Bo Nix before there, I think. Yeah, I think I definitely had to take Bo Nix there. So that feels fine. Hopefully I get Rico back would be really nice. Dobbins would be fine. I can pretty much go any direction I want here. None of my receivers have stacks anymore. Could go Wandale. I'll probably go one of these 3. Could grab Mahomes. That would be fine. That would be fine as well. I don't think I really want to go with another QB here. I think I'd rather go. I could go Dobbs also. Jaden Reed would be a little bit of a reach. I like KC Conception a lot. If I'm saying ADP doesn't matter, we'll take Dobbins if he's there, but if not, I think I go Conception. Okay, we take Dobbins. He is a faller, but he's also far and away my favorite running back in this area. Andy stacks with Knicks. Tony Pollard might be the best pick in this area by far. But he has a lot more risk, I think. Dobbins' role is pretty secure. And Adam stacked up with Knicks and Waddle. Get a little bit of a team bet going on the Broncos. That feels pretty good there. I love J.K. Dobbins. I think he's super efficient. He can have a pretty good goal line role. He can kind of he's not a great pass catcher, but he's a really good runner, really efficient, always over 5 yards per carry. Just all throughout his career, all different locations. It's just, can he stay healthy for a whole year? Hopefully he can, but we'll see. But even if not, he at least gives me, some good production for the first half of the year. and that feels pretty good, especially going like, I'm gonna be going a little bit later to kind of fill out my room, so hopefully that gives those guys a little bit of time to kind of catch up, get on the field and everything. Worth going for it with the Raiders stack. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean we'll see, we'll see. I don't- yeah, I mean we'll see. I don't know. So who do I stack it with? Do I get Mendoza or Kirko? I guess I'd probably just take Mendoza, and I just don't let him fall a ton. Like usually he falls a lot, but yeah, I just pick him more like closer to ADP or something as my third QB. I do need a second QB before then though. Uh wouldn't mind Baker or Shuck if they make it. I assume the guy right before me is gonna take Shuck. Oh, and Baker goes. Okay, so I'll probably not be looking at quarterback for a little while. Could go Malik Willis. I do only have one quarterback. Well, that guy, if that guy with Olave tries to push Shuck past me, he's gonna have a bad day. Um, because I will take Tyler Shuck on him. But if not, I think I go okay, Malik Willis goes. So I'm probably cooked at quarterback because this guy's definitely gonna take Shuck. Yeah, that's kinda tough. Oh wow, he takes KC Conception instead. Fair enough. The KC Conception was the other guy I had in my queue, so he takes my guy, I take his guy. Fair enough, fair trade. But yeah, so we get Tyler Shuck on stack there. I really needed QB help. I think once Shuck goes off the board, and especially with Willis being gone as well, I think QB just falls off a cliff after that. Like Darnold, maybe Darnold should be in that tier, but I think that Shuck just has so much more upside than like Darnold. Stroud maybe could, but he hasn't really shown it in a while. Probably more than Ward. But I just think Shuck has more upside than those guys because he can scramble a little. He only 186 rushing, but he obviously didn't play the full season as a starter. But I just think another year in that system and with Kellen Moore's offense, I just feel better betting on like Shuck and the Saints offense than I do with Darnold, Stroud, Cam Ward, any of those guys. I do like Cam Ward a lot. But I think I feel better with Shuck just because that Kellen Moore offense, Chris Olave, and Travis Achan now obviously decent tight end. So I think here, I think we go Coker. I think we just kind of go best receiver available. Could pull up Omar Cooper, but I did that last time. So we'll just go Coker. Not a big fan of Shakir. Not a big fan of Jaden Higgins either. I think Coker's fine. We're kind of building up a little Carolina thing, so maybe I guess I'm setting up for the Raiders quarterback. So I don't know. I could go Bryce Young if he falls enough, but I think I'm mainly targeting Raiders quarterback for my third, just in theory, because I spent like all the capital on their top two pieces. Um, but I could also go Bryce Young. I don't really need to stack him. It's a running back and a tight end. So it's debatable. We'll see what comes to me for QB. I'm not super worried about it now that I got Shuck locked up. I feel, pretty good with Nix and Shuck, but at least now I have kind of a Panthers out. I have the Vegas out, obviously. I have Arizona out. So I have a couple options, at least pretty late. Um, but yeah, so I'll go over the team real quick too. So far I have a 2-3-5-1. Bo Nix, Tyler Shuck at QB, Genty, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins at running back, George Pickens, Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, Marvin Harrison, Jalen Coker at receiver, and Bowers at tight end. So with this, I'm also definitely only going to go two tight ends. Even if my second one ends up being kind of later, I would prefer that it's Jawan Johnson whenever he's on the board. But if it's not, then that's fine. I'm not super worried behind Bowers. I think my main priority is just going to be kind of building out my running backs with these next couple of picks. Maybe get one more receiver, and then I'll then probably when it comes back, I'll be looking at like quarterback, tight end. So that's kind of the plan now. Might kind of go rainbow with these next four picks, go all four different positions. Yeah, I think that might kind of be the way to play it construction wise. I think Running back needs the most help. I am kind of a Chuba hater though. I spent decent capital on him. I try to treat guys like that I don't like. Like I try to treat Chuba like how I would treat a running back at 76 that I do like, right? Like I try to treat him more based on the draft capital than whether I like him or not. Because I feel like if I always draft Chuba, like I think he's a bad pick, then you just overbuild the RB room and it doesn't make sense. So I think I gotta kind of treat him like he's a decent pick at least. Uh oh, not Jonathan Brooks. Kenyon Sadiq this late, I wouldn't mind. Just get some rookie big upside swing. I don't really need it though. Yeah. eh, Okay, we got Kenyon Sadiq. Last second, I was gonna switch it to Denzel Boston. He's been kind of falling though. He's been falling in fantasy drafts as well as like NFL draft stock. So yeah, we go Sadiq there, get my second tight end, big upside swing on a rookie. I don't mind that behind Bowers. Bowers should just kind of hold me steady every week. Hopefully Sadiq can spike, hit my flex. I don't have a ton of faith in him. Like you saw, I only had 2%, but he is like ultra athletic, didn't have the best production, but ultra athletic, goes to the right team. Maybe he's able to at least put up some spike weeks, or maybe even, do a little bit more. I think tight ends are like the hardest to project coming out of college, at least from what I've heard from like, a lot of like analytical people or film people. It's really hard to judge tight ends in general. And usually they do take a little bit to come on, but not as much lately. They've came on a little bit quicker, like Bowers, Laporta, um, and like Warren, Loveland. Loveland did take until later in the year though. But anyways, I think that's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of Sadiq, like I said, but almost guaranteed first round capital. So he should be like the full starter on whatever team he goes to, hopefully. I think I feel fine with that. Maybe I do actually look at grabbing a third, like very last round if there's someone I like now. But I think if I only stop with those two, that's fine. And I think Bryce Young falls to me. We just grab him here. We already got a double with Chuba and Coker. And there's probably a decent chance Sadiq ends up a Panther. Non-zero at least. So I don't mind that. Get Bryce Young with my stack. Obviously, I didn't stack up my Raiders guys with the QB, but I think with one of them being a running back, other being tight end, I don't care a ton. And all my QBs were stacked except for Shuck. Or, Bryce Young and Bo Nix I had like decently stacked. And then Shuck, probably should have I actually like that pick. Like I said, I think he has a lot more upside than the other guys and a lot more safety, like the other guys that were left. Um Let me go back to the board. Hey, Fantasy Football Garage, what's up, dog? Hey, what's up, bro? Thanks for stopping by. And check out Fantasy Football Garage if you don't already know. My dog. Um, yeah, how was the Masters? What'd you think? I I was pretty hyped about it. I thought Thursday was the best golf I ever seen in my life. That was like the coolest tournament probably to watch. Was on Thursday when like they were just like missing everything and they were just flying off the greens. Like I thought that was like the best day. And then the other days were still really cool. I mean, it was a really good tournament, but yeah, I was a little disappointed that like it's almost like it got a little bit easier after the first day. Like obviously I saw a lot of people bitching about that on like Twitter and stuff. But like it's just like that first day was so crazy where like none of them could hold the greens or anything. And I don't know, I thought that was like pretty cool where it's like, the best guys in the world can't like keep it on the green and stuff. But yeah, but I mean overall it was pretty cool. It came down really close on Sunday. It was really exciting down the stretch too. So I don't know. It was a good time watching it though. You first time watching the Masters like all the way through. Could go. I don't love Manny Wilson. We could just go with the boy Emmett Johnson. I have 19.5. Let's get it up to 20. Why not? I love me some Emmett Johnson. He didn't do the best at the combine, but he's kind of a solid all around back. So hopefully he's able to get a role that like hopefully he's able to get on the field somewhere. It's gonna depend a lot on draft capital. Athleticism not being great is a little worrying for his like overall upside, I guess. But this late taking a shot, I don't mind it. And he is a good pass catcher too. So he has at least a couple ways he can get on the field. That feels decent. Great Masters. Sunday was so competitive. Happy for Rory. Yeah, no, I was pretty happy he won. Obviously for betting and shit, like I was underexposed to Rory, which is unfortunate. But yeah, no, I was happy that he won. Like it was fine. I think down the stretch, I was mainly rooting for like Justin Rose to get it. Um, just because that would have been cool. I guess since Rory won it last year, it's like yeah, winning back to backs like that's pretty cool. But I probably would have preferred like Justin Rose or something. But I was happy for Rory. I'm not really like a hater. Like I see a lot of haters for him, but yeah, no, that was pretty cool. I was happy to see him win. Um, how did the hatless fellows do? Rory is a no hat guy, right? Is Rory a no hat guy? Candyman would know better than me. I don't know if he is or not. I mean, he definitely wears a hat when he golfs. I don't know in the picture if he's a hat guy or a no hat guy. I'm checking one of my teams right now. I now you got me a little curious. Uh oh, I can't see the pictures on here. Oh wait, yeah, I can. How many picks away am I? All right, I'm still a couple picks away. So, oh yeah, Rory is a hatless guy. Yeah, so you just picked the hatless guys, who Hames. You're right. He's right here. But yeah. So you just picked the hatless guys. That's really the ticket, huh? Yeah. You got it. Rory's a no hat guy. Damn, who Hames is giving us the alpha the whole time. Just pick the guys without the hats. The sponsor pays him to wear the hat, probably. Oh yeah, it's a Nike hat. Yeah. Sponsor definitely pays him to wear that hat. Rory walks around like all Nike. It's like Nike pants, Nike shirt, Nike hat, Nike shoes, and then the whoop on his wrist, because he's also sponsored by them. But no. In the UD picture though, he is a no hat guy, which Who Hames was giving out the alpha that no hat guys are what you need, which apparently he knew. You should have gotten some albatrosses, Who Hames. You would have advanced out of the first round, probably. Would have got the winner. Um, I guess though with Rory, he goes at 2. That was kind of the problem. The guys you needed the most in the albatross were the guys that went at fucking 1 and 2. Tough shit there if you were low on them. I mean, Justin Rose was like great pick too. There were a lot of good picks if you could have built it out, but like the top 2 advanced rate guys, I believe, were the top 2 picks in albatross, which is a little unfortunate, but not super unexpected. Um, just a little unfortunate in the sense of like it's kind of luck of the draw, but obviously how you build around them and stuff, you could still advance past them or whatever. But um Scheffler Nike'd out too. Anytime you see a golfer with just one sponsor equals paid. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, now I noticed that like both of them had the full Nike fits on. Who knows ball? Yeah, exactly. Golf. Maybe he needs to get out on those golf streets too. Flawless strat. Uh, but yeah. No, I mean that makes sense, right? Probably the best guys who like don't have to have a patch here and a patch here and a patch here, like who don't have to have 5 different patches, they're probably getting paid a little bit more than the guys who do have to have like 5 different patches. I'm sure they all get good money from the sponsorships, but that makes sense. If you're paying for Rory McIlroy's whole fit, you're probably paying a pretty penny. All right. So here, I think I could go running back or receiver. Uh, could grab another tight end. I do like Gunnar Helm quite a bit. I actually like a few of these tight ends though. So maybe I go receiver first. Could get another piece of the LV stack, but I don't have the quarterback. I think we'll go Chimere DK. We'll get a little bit more of him. He I don't know, he kind of came on a little bit later in the year last year. Started out more as just a special teams guy. Obviously was a Pro Bowler on special teams last year, so that's kind of where more of his value comes from. But I don't mind taking a shot on a younger guy. They took him pretty early in the draft. I believe Tamir Dike is a third round pick. Is that right? Or a fourth round pick? Um, Chamire Dike. Wow. Wow, this is a lot harder to find on the computer. Fourth round pick, right. He was like the first pick of the fourth round or second pick of the fourth round, whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't mind taking a shot on him there. Like he did show a little bit, obviously, like as a returner, he showed a lot of explosion, but like he showed a little bit more ability later in the year and got on the field a little bit more, kind of replaced Alec Manor, made him irrelevant. Um, so I don't mind taking a shot on DK. You know, I don't know how well he really fits in the offense. That's why I don't have a ton of them. But there weren't a lot of great receiver options other than the rookies I like. So figured I'd get a little bit. He is at least a dynamic player, young guy, has some juice. Not sure how much he can get on the field as a receiver. Went Wicks just for, he's the hot name right now. Just went to Philly. He's the new AJ Brown, basically, when you think about it. So so we'll get a little bit of him there. Uh I've always been a Dontavian Wicks slappy since day one though. So, now if I have another reason, I was out on him this year, but if I have a reason again to slap it up, I'm taking Dontavian Wicks. So um all right. So let's see. Wouldn't mind one of those tight ends, like I was saying earlier, to give me a little bit more floor. Don't need it though. With Bowers, you can stop at 2 with anyone you want pretty much. Um, but yeah, I think we go Terrence Ferguson, and because he's kind of another guy where I don't feel confident at all with his floor, just like Sadiq. But I do think he has that spike week upside, right? Only 11 catches, 3 touchdowns, 231 yards. Pretty dynamic player, plays on a great offense, the Rams. I think I don't mind taking a shot on him super late. Just give me 2 guys who can spike big potentially with Sadiq and Ferguson behind Bowers. I don't need any floor. Bowers gets hurt. It is what it is. But don't give me any floor. Just give me guys who can hit huge upside behind Bowers because in theory, that's the only way they're hitting a Brock Bowers lineup is if they post a huge week, right? So yeah, don't mind them behind Bowers, going with those 2. Could go Kirko, get the 4th QB, why not? I don't think I've done a 4 QB build yet this year, and I've seen them pop up a few times, so wouldn't mind doing that. Wouldn't mind Ollie. He's probably the top running back left. He goes. Pretty unfortunate. Yeah, I probably need a receiver more than the 4th quarterback, as much as I would like to do that. Let's go Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel, he's kind of undervalued right now. They don't really have anyone in that spot, like that slot role with Kirk gone now. He's kind of different than Jaden Higgins in that sense. Like they kind of play different roles. So, right now he looks like kind of the favorite for that slot role in Texans offense. How much do you want Texans offense pieces? Enough to take him at pick 220 probably is the answer. Is I think a fair answer at least. So yeah, don't mind getting a little bit more of him there. Should be kind of wide open for him to do the slot receiver. They could draft someone, could bring someone in, but don't mind it there that late at 220. I would have had 100% pass rate, yeah. In the Albatross. How does your strat change in these USFAs with the differing advance rate structure? How does these are oh yeah, I was saying in the first draft, I am a little bit more willing to go like 0 RB or hero RB. I guess I kind of went hero RB here. I got the elite tight end. A lot more because right, these are 4 out of 12. Yeah, 4 out of 12, and then finals, all that matters. Top 25 are the only ones like making money. Um, yeah, so I'm willing to go more 0 RB, hero RB type thing. Like the title said, ADP doesn't matter. Pulled up Genty. ADP really is just a social construct at the end of the day. It doesn't mean anything. It's just the market, right? But but yeah, so a little bit more willing to pull guys up, but I think in general, willing to go a little bit more 0 RB, hero RB, elite tight ends, basically like lower advancement rate strategies that can give you bigger spikes. Like elite tight end's a good example of that, where like it does hurt advance rate in general, but week to week they can give you more ceiling in theory at least. You know, Kyle Pitts might just mog them all, but in theory they give you more ceiling. Um and let's go Adam Randall. Or let's go Seth McGowan. You know, he's been to prison. We know he's tough. So you know, don't mind that in the last round. We know that he's tough. He's been to jail. Um, but yeah, I would just say that in general. More willing to go just like worse advancing strategies that give you that little bit better like weekly, like mainly the zero and here RB thing, and I guess elite tight ends. Not as worried about getting like super strong RBs, super strong QB room. I would maybe want like I'd be more willing to like get an elite QB and then maybe not as much safety behind them. Where like other formats, I might want to go like three like decently strong ones or something. I think that's the main differences to me. You're probably just not as worried about advance rate like mindset. So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest difference. A lot more open to zero RB. Um, I think 2792 might be the way. Um, yeah, I mean Bryce Young maybe not needed. I can see that. And then the third tight end was definitely not needed at all, but you know, decided to grab him. I think the third tight end or Bryce Young maybe could have been used at running back. My running back's like a little bit weak. Uh, I don't totally disagree with you there, but I don't mind building it like this. Um, what can you tell me about the anal sampling theory? I I I don't know. Did I misspeak? What happened? What? Don't like my team. We'll check it out in just a second. I'll check out all your guys' teams. So I went 3-6-8-3. Bo Nix, Tyler Shuck, Bryce Young, Ashton Genty, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins, Emmett Johnson, Woody Mark, Seth McGowan, George Pickens, Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, Marvin Harrison, Jalen Coker, Dontavian Wicks, Jameer Dike, Jalen Knoll, Brock Bowers, Kenny Zeke, Terrence Ferguson. So feels good at tight end. Anything with Bowers feels good. Don't even care who the other two guys are. You know, they're behind Brock Bowers, doesn't matter. But I did get two guys who I think can maybe give me spike week. So feel good at tight end. Receiver feels fine. Pickens, Terry, Waddle. Those up top should be good week to week. Waddle does scare me a little, but given his price, should be good week to week. Um, then a little bit riskier. Marvin Harrison, Coker, pretty big fall off to Wicks. So receivers a little bit scary. Really need Marvin Harrison to step up, or like Coker to step up, but is a little bit thin. Don't love it. But it can be okay. It's a serviceable receiver room, but I don't love it. Genty, Chuba, J.K. Dobbins, Emmett Johnson, Woody Mark, Seth McGowan. Mediocre RB room. Like I said, I hate Chuba, but if I'm spending pick 76 on an RB, pick 100 on an RB, and I got a first rounder, that in theory is pretty good running back capital for my top three. Emmett, Woody, McGowan. Hopefully they give me a little bit of upside. Woody splitting time. Maybe he gets a little bit more than we're thinking. Emmett and McGowan, hopefully they get good landing spots. RB feels fine. Bo Nix, Tyler Shuck, Bryce Young, that feels fine to me. Overall, this team, I don't love it. I think receiver's a little shaky. Running back is fine, but it's not strong. Tight end is fine, but Bowers up top. But yeah, receiver and RB, neither one feel very strong. They just feel okay, maybe even a little shaky for receivers. So don't love it. Not my best team. Um, you know, could maybe advance. Maybe it min cashes me in a 4 out of 12. Uh over anything you put in the prop. You got me. You got me, Who Ames. Good, good job. Uh you read it. Good job. How's it going? Hey, what's up, Steve? How's it going? Thanks for stopping by, bro. And check out Fanspeak, Steve on Fanspeak. Him and Who Ames were doing a show earlier on Who Ames channel. But thanks for stopping by, bro. So we just went through my team. Let's check out Fantasy Dog's team. Fantasy Dog went 3-6-8-3. Jackson Dart, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold. Like the QB room, pretty strong. Scattaboo, Harvey, Kenneth Gainwell, Tyrone Tracy, Isaiah Pacheco, Sean Tucker. Okay, JSN, Malik Neighbors, Zay Flowers, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Torrey Horton, Cooper Kupp, Darius Slayton. Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews, Colby Parkinson. Tight end's really strong or strong. Uh receiver. Receiver's kind of interesting. You have four really strong guys, and then you took a long break. I think it's fine. You did the big Seattle like mega stack. I see. You did kind of a Giants like double up with Slayton and Neighbors. I think, and then running back you have Scattaboo, Harvey, Gainwell feels fine for a third. Tracy, Pacheco, Tucker. I think it's pretty solid overall. RB, you might have a little bit of a hard time with ceiling, like with these guys, if Harvey's splitting time, Gainwell splitting time. But I think they're perfectly fine. And Denver's a good offense. I think we expect Tampa Bay to be a lot better. Giants might even be fine. So I think your RB room is fine. It's maybe just a little bit lower ceiling. And then receiver, I mean, I think your top four is strong enough. You just got to worry about like, well, no, I guess it's fine. Yeah, no, I think your top four are plenty strong. So, as long as they stay healthy and all that, I think it's a pretty solid team actually. I don't mind this one. Yeah, I'm not the biggest on like Tyreek Hill, but at 187, I mean, you want to take the shot. If he does play the second half, it's probably a decent pick. But yeah, the big mega Seattle, don't mind that. And then strong top four, decent RB room. I think it's pretty good, fancy dog. Yeah, I like this team. Um, I think it's pretty good, pretty balanced build overall. All right. Green Bean. Green Bean went 2693. Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Omarion Hampton, Travis Etienne Jr. or Travis Etienne Jr., Javonte Williams, Mike Washington, Kamani Vidal, LaQuinn Allen, CeeDee Lamb, Romo Dunze, Jacoby Myers, Jaden Reed, Josh Downs, Travis Hunter, Christian Kirk, Jeremy Bernard, Antonio Williams, Jake Ferguson, Juwan Johnson, Mason Taylor. I think I like this team a lot. Dak and T-Law, perfectly fine stopping at 2. Um, theoretically, you could throw a third on, but if they're both healthy, you're probably good stopping at 2 with that, to be honest. Hampton, ETN, Javante, really strong top 3, filling your flex every week. Mike Washington, Kamani, LaQuint Allen. Get a little bit of upside. You must have a shit. I feel like you pick LaQuint Allen like almost every time I see you in a draft. You must have a shitload of LaQuint Allen. But I mean, and he's fine in the 20th round. I feel like I see him on your team like most of the time. Oh, and then he did the little handcuff with Kamani and Hampton. Kind of like that play too. I think your RB room is pretty strong. Mike Washington, big upside swing. Yeah, I think that's pretty strong. Strong top 3. CeeDee Lamb, Rome, Jacoby Myers, Jaden Reed, Josh Downs, Travis Hunter, Christian Kirk, Aaron Bernard, Antonio Williams. I think receiver is okay, and you really did kind of fill it out in the mid range with Jacoby Reed Downs. You got your Lamb and Rome up top. I like how you layered it in with Jacoby Reed and Downs, kind of all in that like 80 to 115 whatever range. Because I think that gives you really solid floor and some upside, like spike weeks out of Reed, maybe spike weeks out of Jacoby. Downs maybe gives you floor, maybe it's spike if he gets in the end zone. But I really like that little grouping there. I think that helps the wide receiver room a lot. Travis Hunter, big upside swing. Kirk, probably pretty good value in SF. And then Jeremy and Antonio Williams, actually 2 guys I have a ton of. So like both those rookie picks. I think they're both looking really good for at least day 2 capital, but probably round 2 capital. They're both looking pretty good for. At least according to, like mock draft database, stuff like that. And then tight end room is pretty strong. I like that. Ferguson, Juwan, Mason Taylor. Yeah, I think that's a really good team, Green Bean. I like your team a lot. And who else do we have? Oh, Paul. Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, strong QB room, like plenty fine with that. Saquon, Henry, Kyron, Quinshawn, Katron. Love that. Kind of a hyper fragile, modified hyper fragile. I don't know what you call it, but hyper fragile basically because you got the 5th one super late. Love that. I think the top 4 are really, really strong, obviously. All guys who are like really big workhorse on their teams. Maybe Kyron's playing a little, but he plays on the Rams. Like, got some really good offenses in there too, other than Cleveland, but you expect him to be the workhorse. Love those RBs. T. Higgins, DK, Ricky, QJ, Stephon Diggs, Debo Samuel, Calvin Ridley, Kayshon Boutte, Elijah Surratt, Tutu Atwell. Feel like receiver's fine. You put a lot of volume in those in that same range. I think what it is you lack some like upside with it, like top end. With T. Higgins, DK, they can spike in a single week. I guess so could QJ or Ricky, in theory, but it's just like I don't know. I think your odds of them all hitting together like is a little bit, is kind of low. Like where they're just a little bit lower tier players. You're not expecting like, a ton of massive spikes out of them. T. Higgins, I guess you would be. He's obviously your top dog. I think and then you kind of went like Diggs, Debo. I think they might be a little bit more like floor plays, which I think is fine because you went thinner. I think the receiver room is like fine. You definitely build out enough volume, and I think enough like guys like Diggs and Debo really help these builds, at least in my opinion. Like I pick them all the time on builds like this. Um, it could just be a little bit lower upside with these guys, unless one really does hit like QJ or Ricky really does hit. Um, then Kelsey, Goddard, Gesicki, totally fine at tight end. Went Gesicki last round to stack up with your Burrow. Goddard, Kelsey, good picks where they go. Yeah, I think the team's pretty solid. I think you did get enough volume at receiver to be pretty viable. And yeah, I mean, I think you definitely got enough volume. I really like the Diggs and Debo. Give you some more floor back there since you did spend lower capital. And obviously your RB room's insane. Probably the best RB room in this draft. But yeah, no, I like the team overall. I like how you built it. All right. I think that's everyone. Weak at RB. Yeah. What was yours? Oh, yeah, a little bit. It's okay, but yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's okay though. I wouldn't be too worried about that RB room. With like you spend decent capital on Harvey, you just got to assume he's going to pay it off if you're spending that capital on him, right? Um, what's up, Herman? Hey, what's up, Al Boogie? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate it. Not very often on LeQuint, honestly. I'm at 7% LeQuint. I feel maybe it's not you. Maybe I just maybe you picked him like twice in a draft that you did with me or something. And I'm like, this guy loves him some LeQuint Allen. maybe that's what happened. But all right, fair enough. Only 7%. Fair enough. Um, all right. So I think I'm gonna let me look and see if anyone else is going live. Is anyone else going live like anytime soon? Um, if they are, I'll probably just hop off. I've been like is no, it doesn't really look like it. Um, yeah, no, I might just rip one more draft then. I mean, I'm probably gonna be ripping these UDFAs anyway. So I'm gonna do one more. And I'll join my phone. I'll count it down though. So I'm gonna join another UDFA in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're entered. Auto it like snap filled. Yeah, starting shortly. All right, so hopefully some of you got in. Not sure. Who aims in here? All right, cool. So we got who aims. I know Artillery Frost, but I don't think he's just a maxer. He's just your casual maxer. And then me at 12. All right, so we got me and Who Hames in here. Finally get to go head to head against him. We'll keep an eye. We'll see what he's building. But that last term, some pretty good teams. You guys had some pretty nice teams. Wow, rug pull, nice one, Hartman. Fair enough. I'm in the overflow. Damn. Damn. Yeah, this thing's like ripping full. Like, well, it was at 55%, like before that last draft, or no, when I started like an hour and a half ago. Sorry, filled like 5% more. I guess though, yeah, this thing's gonna fill. This thing's probably gonna fill like early Thursday, late Wednesday. So yeah. Um, he's in my other lobby too. Oh damn. And I'm all rug full, nice one. So well, it sounds like you guys got more of a friends and family draft than I did. That's pretty funny, actually. Always love when that happens. Good luck, boys. I'm taking a little break. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Green Bean. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for drafting with us, hopping in. Um, yeah, nice. That's cool. That's good to know you guys got the friends and family room. Let me let me know how that goes for you. I'm just gonna be chilling. Who aims is far enough away from me. He probably can't mess up my draft too much. unless he's really trying. But at least he's a little far away from me, so I'll probably be safe. Um, all right, so nothing too weird in this one. All right, yeah. Challenge accepted. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Mess up my drive. Yeah. But who aims? You better know. I mean, you come messing with me, there will be repercussions. I'll come back. I'll come back 10 times harder. Uh, but um, yeah, there'll be repercussions for that. So, I'd probably get all my stacks figured out before you go sniping me. Or else I'll be taking your stacks. All right. So here at 12, we'll do one ADP pick and then maybe like one pull up. Get a little bit unique. Why not? James Cook, Genty. I like them both. I have 10% of both. We'll go James Cook and then we'll go. I guess this contest is like only open right now, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go Rashi Rice. Yeah, let's go Rashi Rice. We had Al Boogie jump in, comment on how good I am at rug pulling people. He mentioned, pulling up Rice, I think last time I was streaming. So we'll get me some Rice there at 13. And this contest just opened on Sunday, so that shouldn't be very common with him paired on the back half of the board. Maybe more people are pulling him up to 13, but he shouldn't be falling to 36 in this contest. Get a little unique there. Like Rice a lot. Normally would have probably just went Genty Cook, but get a little different on the turn. Why not? Pull up Rice. Allen Legion are in my draft. Well, good luck. Snipe Al for me. I'm not there to do it. I'm right in the middle of them. Damn. Steve got the bad spot. At least Steve's a real pro though. He can probably figure it out. He'll probably build out of it. I'd be real scared though of Legion because Legion knows every single one of Steve's takes, bar for bar. Emmett Johnson, welcome to the team 108. Emmett Johnson, welcome to the team 108. That would have been. Oh, did that happen? That'd be a good pick. I mean, if you really want to secure him, you can maybe wait till the second round, but first round Emmett Johnson, hey, if he's the RB1 in your mind, Jeremiah Love goes early second. Who's to say you shouldn't take Emmett Johnson in the first? And they're both rookies, right? No one really knows how good they're going to be. Don't worry, Steve. I'll let you get off the Thielen and Lockett this year. There you go. Good guy, Paul. Good guy, Legion. Letting you get all the Thielen and Lockett. No, LOL. I just know how much team loves him. LOL. Oh, how much? Yeah. How much Steve loves him. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I like me some Emmett Johnson too. I mean, Emmett Johnson, 19.5%. So I love me some Emmett Johnson. Draft stock fallen maybe a little with the combine and all that, obviously, but I don't know. I think I heard obviously Steve talking a lot about it, other people talking a lot about it, but he just has multiple ways to get on the field. He's a good pass catcher. Not the best athlete, but at least he has a couple different outs. Hopefully he gets a good landing spot. It's just so hard with these later round running backs right now, to be honest. But I don't know. I'm a pretty big Emmett Johnson fan too, and he's good at forcing missed tackles, right? Which I think is a pretty big thing. But obviously it's a pretty big thing, but he can kind of do everything pretty well at least. So at least he has a couple outs to get on the field. But the draft capital, it just really depends where guys go. You never know. You end up going to, oh, congratulations, your CMC's back up this year when he gets 90% touches again. It's that could happen to any one of these guys. And they want to take CMC off field and give him less snaps, but it never actually happens. So it's it's just so hard to say. I think especially with the later round rookie running backs, it's just so landing spot dependent, but might as well take a guy you like, guy you think has at least a couple different outs. He's not just like a one trick pony. Um, I mean, that's kind of why I'm in Emmett, but I don't know. It's tough with those later round guys, especially the running backs this year. I feel like because none of them are like insane prospects, or they all have like a lot of the ones who are actually like good at football. It feels like aren't like the best athletes, which is unfortunate. And vice versa, the ones who are the best athletes are maybe not the best at football. Um, like Nick Singleton and Mike Washington. It's like you could just give their athleticism to like Emmett Johnson and Katron Allen, then we'd be cooking. I don't mind Javante here. I'm pretty low on Javante in general. So get a little bit more here. Oops. Yeah, get a little bit more there. Dallas pieces, really high scoring offense. He's all set up to be the lead dog there by far right now. So I want to get a little bit more Javante. Probably should have been a little bit more open to clicking him earlier. Um, I don't know. I think I was just being a little bit too much of a hater, to be honest. I don't really think I had a good reason why I was fading him so hard, like super early. Um, yeah, it's just I don't know. He did kind of fall off a little bit towards the end, but just that role, and if they don't bring in anyone, no one's really going to challenge him in that backfield. I'll be pretty open to Javante, especially if they don't bring in anyone during the draft. But it's hard to see them bringing in much that really challenges him in this draft. Uh, yeah, it's hard to see him really getting challenged in the draft. So I'll probably be a lot more open to Javante post draft. Because his price is decent. RB17 plays on the Cowboys, very clear starting, like very clear bell cow guy for them. Like 1A, and there is no real 1B. So maybe I should get a little bit more of him in general. You can have Cup too, Steve. Yeah. Yeah. You get if their age is over like 33, then you get them, right? That's the thing Meg always says. Steve likes the dusty olds. But no, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes some dusty olds can get you some points, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I like any dusty olds. Mike Evans. Mike Evans, he's a dusty old. I love me some Mike Evans. Devontae Adams. Oh my god, I love me some Devontae Adams. But like later guys, I don't know if like Debo and Diggs. I love me some stuff on Diggs, just tore his ACL like a year ago or 2 years ago, however you want to say it. 22% of that bad boy. So I love me some dusty old sometimes too. Uh yeah, I don't know. There's not as many, I feel like, this year. Like a lot of the later guys feel younger than like the Locketts and stuff and Adam Thielens. But I'm sure I'm just not thinking of some guys. I mean, like I said, Diggs, Debo, Juwan kinda. He's younger than those guys, but like Diggs, Debo, those can kind of be the dusty olds. Makes it a little bit harder if they're not signed though. If they were signed, it'd be because that's kind of what's suppressing their price. Like if they were signed, it'd be easier to call them the dust ball picks. Um, all right. So here, wouldn't mind Quinshawn. Wouldn't mind. I mean, Scatabo would be fine. I have a lot of Scatabo though, and I do already have two decent running backs. Could go Jaden. I like Jaden a lot. Just a rushing upside, right? I mean, almost not 900 yards as a rookie. Realistically, him and Lamar, maybe Malik Willis have that kind of rushing upside. I think we go Scattaboo. Yeah, we'll grab Scattaboo. I wasn't sure. I do like Makai Lemon a lot too. He's kind of been falling a little. Don't mind Alec Pierce. I think we just go Jaden. We just get the QB upside, lock up an elite guy. Like I was saying, just the rushing upside. I mean, him, Lamar, maybe Malik Willis have the ability to rush for that many yards. And I don't think anyone else in the league does. So like, I don't know. I just think the upside you're getting 6th round, the difference with him and Malik Willis obviously is like the passing. It's like, I think the passing upside you're getting with Jaden is almost as good as anyone that goes after him and better than some of them. Maybe not them Burrow, but the rushing is like worlds different. But Jaden Daniels passing upside I feel like is similar to Caleb, Jalen Hurts, Drake May. and I think he just offers more rushing upside than anyone except Lamar and maybe Malik Willis. Yeah, just as cheap as he goes. I don't know. I love loading up on Jaden. I actually was thinking about taking Terry instead of Javante to set up the stack, but decided against it. Um, but yeah, I don't mind that going though with the on stack Jaden. Um, and that way too, I get to snipe Who Hames because he had Terry. So that always feels good. He threatened it, and I decided, all right, well, if we're talking about committing war, let's go to war then. Um, I need Keenan Allen as well. Hey, there we go. That's a good dusty old. See, that's an actual dusty one. Um, there you go. AJ Brown is a dusty old. You can make the case. His separation and whatnot was not. I don't know. Early in the year he wasn't really the same player, but I guess he had that hamstring injury during summer, so maybe that's a little bit harder to say. And the offense was a mess, but yeah, AJ Brown could be considered a dusty old. Um, Steve pull up Smith has been linked to Rossini yet? That's a pretty good one. No, I mean Diana Rossini, she's I don't know if you saw, she's officially gone. She had to quit her job. I'm waiting on Vrabel to step down from his job as well. But yeah, no, I don't know. That whole story was like wild. I just I don't know. It's crazy like how much it blew up and just like how deep the rabbit hole goes. Like I guess it's hard to say. Like there were like pictures and like messages and stuff from like years ago and shit. But it's like also at the same time, I don't know. There are two people that would be in like the same places, I guess, a decent amount for some events. But yeah, it was just crazy like how deep the rabbit hole is going. Because I think at first they were like, "Oh, we'll just put out this statement, it'll be chill," and then and people just like kept posting shit like them at a bar and this and that. It's like, yeah, it just I was surprised how far that like blew up. I didn't think it would go that much or go that far, but and then with her losing her job or resigning from her job, whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. I was pretty surprised that it got that far. I guess that is just the whole like media journalist integrity deal. I guess that is maybe I wasn't thinking that was as big of a deal as it actually is to like the NFL and to those like papers and whatnot. Um, could go Mahomes with my Rice. I like Godwin. I think let's go Mahomes first, and then I want a receiver. I could either go Godwin or Pearsall. I have 0% Jacoby Myers. Could get me a share of that, but it's already too late at this point, so we'll just get my Jacoby Myers post draft. Um, I actually think I'll go Ricky over. Yeah, I'll go Ricky because I'm not really worried about opening up the Baker stack. My QBs are fine. I know Mahomes coming off the ACL, but like I can just get a cheap third if I want with Jaden and Mahomes. So I'm not super worried about setting up the stack with Baker. I'm sure Purdy will be gone before my pick, so that's why I don't think I'll get that stack back anyway. Um, but yeah, I feel decent at QB with Jaden Daniels and Pat Mahomes. So I think I'll be fine with that. And then just get a guy a little bit later. Uh it's all good. I'm building a banger. Hey, I mean, there you go. There you go. Or in this one you're building a banger? Oh, with the Jaden, that's right. All right. JS, I forgot that you were in this one because the overflow. JSM, Brock Bowers, Josh Allen, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Chuba Dobbins. All right, so you're going with the zero. You're going with the zero RB. I completely ignored everything I was saying earlier about the first two drafts I kind of stuck to it and I just slowly regressed into just going heavy RB and heavy QB and forgetting about the entire structure of the contest. I mean, like I'm fine building like how I built in this contest as well. But as soon as I saw yours, I'm like, oh yeah, zero RB is probably a good strat in this given the structure. But so you want JSN, Bowers, Allen, McLaurin, Moore, Harrison, Chuba, Dobbins. I'm not a big Chuba guy, but that is where he goes. You did need a running back. That seems fair. Other picks, I like them all. I like all the other picks where you got them, but even like I said, Marvin Harrison, I'm a little lower on, but in the late 60s, I personally maybe lean Alec Pierce over him, but you want to go Marvin Harrison over Alec Pierce, it's like, it's close enough. I think all these receivers kind of at the end of the 6th round are all in a similar tier. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, looks like a pretty nice start. Obviously got, the tight end one, QB one. So, I mean, to me, Brock Bowers is tight end one. You picked him over McBride. So I definitely agree with that. I'm Bowers over McBride pretty easily. Um, yeah, no, I mean, pretty nice start though for sure. Uh, laughing. Mercedes Lewis is still in the player pool. Hey, there we go. I might have to take a look. Big dog. He's the OG big dog. That's who Aaron Rodgers calls big dog is Mercedes Lewis. Before Derrick Henry, there was Mercedes. Um, but yeah, I mean, hey, you never know. He might sign. That dude played like 20 years. So, he might be back for another. You never know. Don't doubt him. I mean, this would be pretty sick if we got Laporta Goff done at QB, get my tight end. Might be a little bit too heavy QB capital, but according to all the sims and whatnot, this is the way you build this year. Does this guy have a Monra? No? Let's see. See if he lets me get it. He has Harold Fannin already too. So hopefully he doesn't want a tight end. Hopefully he also doesn't time out on his pick. Fuck. Well, that's unfortunate. Because that kind of ruins the Goff stack. Could just go Jaden Reed, Jordan Love. I don't mind that. Yeah, let's just go Jaden Reed. Could go Worthy, double stack up the Chiefs. I want the third QB more. I have an elite though. Let's go Worthy. Yeah, I have an elite, so I'll push it a little bit. And I guess that was the one thing I was like just talking about how I wasn't doing was, I was maybe building my QB room a little bit too strong for a 4 out of 12 that only week 17 matters. Um so yeah, we'll push it a little, build out this receiver room. I need some more help there anyway, so get the double with Mahomes, Worthy, Mahomes, Rice. Uh and hopefully be a little unique in this contest, getting Rice at the 13 spot, like on the right side of the board. In this contest, I assume he's mostly going on the left side. So hopefully get a little bit different there. But I think that's probably the right call with having Jaden. I think is to not overly reach on that third QB. Um, I do like Love's price though, but I think it was a better move to go with the receiver overall for my construction. I only had 4 at that point. It's not actually a big deal, but the NFL thinks it is. Yeah, no, for real. Like, I don't know. I wasn't, with her like quitting and like, it probably wasn't really her choice whether or not she had to quit. Like, I don't know. I thought that was pretty lame. I wasn't, because to me it's like, I don't know. I feel like when you're reporting on football, like I guess I get it's the conflict of interest, but it's like, is that not also like how she was like getting some scoops or something? And also it's like, I don't know, like I think the one thing too that like messes me up on it is if they were both single and let's say they like at that came out, right? And they were dating or whatever. Would it even be like a news story or would they fire her because it's a conflict of interest and she's a reporter? Or is it because it's like, oh, people are shitting on her because it's like, it's not morally good for either of them to do, obviously, if it is what people think. So like, yeah, I thought it was kind of shitty how like she got she got fired when like I don't know, it doesn't matter. Like, oh, she's reporting on the Patriots and sleeping with the coach. How can she report unbiasedly? It's like, I don't know. Is she like their beat writer? Like, does it matter? Like, that was kinda my thought on it, is, like, does it matter if she was sleeping with Vrabel or not for her job? Like, as a person or morally or whatever, sure, like, think what you wanna think. But, like, I don't know, for a job, it just seems so weird to me. It seems like it was more about, like, because people are all upset because it wasn't, like, morally a good thing to do. But I don't know. I mean, and maybe I'm way off base. Maybe if she was single, they'd be like, "No, that's a conflict. You gotta leave the athletic still." But it just to me, it almost feels like more because it was, like, a controversial thing and maybe not morally the best thing to do. Uh, I have, like, 3% Marv. I like Pierce a lot more. Okay, that's kinda what I thought. I was a little bit surprised to see you take Marv over him. But okay, okay. Yeah, getting a little different. I did the same thing the draft right before, so I can't fault you too much for it. Um, all right. So here, wouldn't mind double tapping tight end even. We'll just go insano KC stack. Why not? Who says no? We'll go Travis Kelsey here. Do I want to look at running back? I'm thinking about running back or another tight end. I think with Cook, Javante Scadaboo, I feel good enough. I should go with another tight end. I think we go Kincaid for maybe some more spike week upside. It's a little bit of team correlation with James Cook. Not sure if I really care about that too much. But I think with Kelsey kind of being my steady guy, hopefully kind of getting a bunch of targets. Um, Hopefully Kincaid is just giving me those spikes, the rare weeks he's on the field more than 20% of the time. So I think they pair up decently there. I think double tapping tight end was probably the right move. Could have went with a running back. Didn't love the guys who came back. Like Rashad White maybe, but like C-Rod, Aaron Jones would have taken either of those guys if they came back. Like the Omar Cooper pick from Who Hams would have picked him probably if he was there. Um, yeah, pretty happy with the double tap on tight end. I think that's fine. She was getting scooped. Fair enough. Fair enough. You can't be a scooper if you're out there getting scooped. Um, she isn't Amber Heard. She isn't Amber Heard. Yeah, I mean, true. Yeah, no, I mean, Amber Heard did some crazy stuff, but I don't think if they were both single, should would have had to resign, but it probably would have forced her to limit covering the team, etc. going forward. See, and I think like that would be fair. I think that's the like kind of lame part is like i- if they had done that and she like kept her job at the Athletic or whatever, then and ESPN and all that, like I think that would be more fair. I just don't think it's very fair that like she loses the job. Obviously, maybe it was her own decision because of all the negative attention and stuff, but I'm sure there's probably pressure from whatever company or whatever. But yeah, I just don't really think it should in theory be different. I understand why people would be upset and not like her after that. And I don't think what they did was right either. I think that was, a terrible thing to do to whoever you're married to, obviously. But like I, I just think losing your job over it doesn't I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me, really, like but I understand the situation why it happened. And I'm not like, "Oh my god, the Athletics so terrible. They completely like screwed her over, blah blah blah." Like, them firing her it's not the worst thing ever either, but it's like I just don't think that's super fair of a repercussion. I feel like it's kind of an overcorrection, I guess. Um I doubt she wants to be reading social media right now. Yeah, no, I mean, that's true, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, how social media goes. It's gonna like blow over in a little bit. Maybe not in her mentions or whatever, but like as far as being like a media personality or something, it would blow over in a little bit. But it's like now when it blows over, I mean, it's probably gonna be pretty hard for her to get back and maybe not to get back into like a role covering football or something. I don't, and maybe that's not the plan, but yeah, I don't know. It's just her job is social media. That was like her job at the Athletic or whatever. I thought she was like a reporter. She's like just the social media because like wasn't she was on the shows and shit too, right? I mean, I know you're saying like that's social media, but like you don't have to be logged on to Twitter when you go on ESPN like show or when you like, maybe you're following like beat news you do, but I mean all reporters rely on social media. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, but not her because she had Mike Vrabel. Like, see, that's where you're wrong, who Ames. She had a source offline, and it was, probably a pretty fucking good source, the coach of the team. So no, disagree, hard disagree. Uh, but no, I get what you're saying. That's where they get a lot of their news. Fair enough. I think we go James Conner here, and then we just rack up some more digs. Yeah, yeah, James Conner's fine there. I like him as late as he goes. It's not super clear who's gonna be the wide receiver or RB1 or 2 between him and Algier. And then we just let's go Diggs, get a little bit of, receiver help there.
What the hell? Diggs.
Kings gotta peep the seat, word to Caesar. Remind me to keep receipts, y'all shit weak. I ain't worried that bullshit leaked. See the volumes, it speaks to your broke speakers. Kings gotta.
Hard disagree. Emphasis on hard. Exactly. Exactly. No, but, yeah, no, I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, like, that is a big part of her job. I guess I'm not I'll be honest, I'm not ultra familiar with exactly what Diana Rossini's role is or what she did. I've just seen her on the ESPN show sometimes. Like, I know she works at The Athletic. Don't know exactly what she did. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, that's fair enough. Maybe she just didn't wanna go on social media and stuff right now. Um, who has had the steepest fall from grace in NFL media, Rossini or Sanchez? Oh, I mean, Mark Sanchez is pretty rough. He got all, I don't know, he was on, like, 3 or 4 different drugs, drunk, coke, like, he was on, like, something else too, and, like, weed, but, like, he was on, like, 4 different drugs or something, going crazy. What'd he do? He got stabbed, he, like, tried to break in somewhere, and then he got stabbed. I I think we have to give the cake to Mark Sanchez out of those 2. Oh, Al Boogie with another one, Joy Taylor. See, Joy Taylor's like Rossini turned up to 11. She was sleeping with everyone at ESPN, allegedly. Allegedly. Um, no, that's a good shout. That's a good shout out, Boogie. I forgot about Joy Taylor. Good shout. Her and what's the name? Acho. Her and Acho going crazy. Um, I would lean Sanchez. I think his crash out is a little bit wilder. Rossini can probably come back in like not I bet like not super long. She could probably be back on like NFL media job. She probably has enough of a name. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe her credibility is ruined enough, but like I don't know. I feel like she could maybe come back where Sanchez would be harder. Um Fired for hugging coach, technically, that's all there's proof of. Right, that's a very good point, is they've always denied it, and these rumors have always just been rumors, right? They've never confirmed it. So for her to try to take kind of a sabbatical, kinda go away, and then maybe come back when the heat's died down, I think that could be more in the cards for her. Where, like, Sanchez, he just kinda crashed out. I mean, maybe he does come back, but, like, someday, but I don't know. His was more of a crash out. Hers, I feel like with the whole denying it and all this and that, I think maybe she could come back eventually. We grabbed Gino there. I had Garrett Wilson, so get a little stat going. Wouldn't mind Tajay here. Has a little bit of upside, maybe. Yeah, I think we just grabbed Tajay. I think he's decent because Love goes there. Pollard's probably gone. Tajay is the direct backup to Love, hopefully. And if Love doesn't go there, then it's just Tajay and Pollard. Pollard has been pretty good at holding off Tajay, but he's also older, so maybe Tajay takes a little more. Tajay is a decent receiver, decently explosive. Has shown he can spike if he gets the workload, so don't mind him at 181. Um, oh shit. Sanchez takes a cake, beat up an 80-year-old man, and got stabbed in self-defense. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, his crash out is insane. Sanchez fought with, like, a delivery driver at, like, 2 AM and then got stabbed, yeah. And then I think they found out he was on some shit. He was on, like, coke and drunk and, yeah, a few, few substances as well influencing that decision. So yeah, I don't know. I think his crash out takes the cake. Yeah, I agree. Sanchez takes the cake. And Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp. Are you talking about the video? Let me turn on light real quick. I'll be right back. All right, we back. Shannon Sharp, are you talking about the video? He was banging some chick in his hotel room, and then he put it on Instagram Live, right? That's what it is. I think he did an Instagram Live while he was like banging some chick in his hotel room, but it might be something else. I'm not sure. FS1 is 3 for 3. They had all three of those people as hosts. That's crazy. Damn. So do not become an FS1 host. All right. Lesson learned. Antonio Brown. Oh yeah, if we're talking like players, which Sanchez is a player, but he was like the media guy by then. Yeah, if we're talking players, I mean Antonio Brown, no one can beat that. No one can beat taking off your jersey mid-game, throwing it on the ground, doing jumping jacks out of the end zone, like out through the tunnel. I mean, how do you even beat that? To be fair, all Jets QBs go crazy. Remember Geno in the locker room fight? Oh yeah, that guy broke his jaw. Well, he said Geno owed him some money though, and then he broke his jaw and they cut him. And then the Bills with Rex Ryan signed him like the day after or whatever, right? I can't remember his name. He was a linebacker, I'm pretty sure, and he was young too. He was decently young, and like I can't remember who it is. Maybe I'm off on who it was, but I'm pretty sure the story about it. Geno owed him money, and then he hit him, broke his jaw, got cut immediately, got signed by Rex Ryan. I'm pretty sure that's all true. Shannon Sharp doing quite fine, making million for his podcast. Oh yeah. Well, and Shannon's was more just funny than anything. I mean, maybe he lost some sponsors or some shit off it, but like at least to me, like there's nothing wrong with Shannon Sharp's. It was just like really funny. But because it was only like audio. It was like he left his phone like on a table or something and somehow went on IG Live when it was like set down, and you could, hear the action. But yeah, I mean that's more just like probably kind of embarrassing. I mean, maybe, but like it's not like that's not like that bad, I don't think. And I don't think it doesn't seem like it affected him too much at all. So we go Najee, Jeremy, just kind of get a little bit more. I don't know. I've been liking Najee a lot late. Hopefully he gets a good landing spot is kind of all I'm hoping for. At least a guy who's shown he can. Coaches love him. He's a big body guy. He could be a goal line back, hopefully wherever he goes. But coaches love him. Good between the tackles. Good enough, I guess. Not saying good between the tackles, maybe a stretch, but like. Big body guy always falls forward. Coaches love him. Hopefully he gets a good landing spot. RB6. Why not throw him on? Maybe I get a little bit more than I'm expecting this late. Joy Taylor and Sharp in the closet. Yeah, that would be pretty fun. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that happened. I would not doubt it. What's up, my boy? Hey, what's up, Zero Fucks? Hey, thanks for stopping by, brother. Saw you earlier on the Who Haim show. You did good on there. Was watching that a little bit ago. I think OJ has had the steepest fall. Good call, Paul. Yeah, because I mean, OJ, what did he do? He robbed someone. That was pretty bad. That was a pretty nasty action. Yeah, I mean, he did rob someone, so that was pretty bad. But yeah, all time crash out from OJ. Fair, good call, Paul. Or do become an FS1 host. Hey, I mean, your life will at least be exciting. At least you'd have that going if you become an FS1 host. Either be having an affair. Well, I mean, the two outcomes are not like the having an affair, not great, right? Not great, but it's like there's some ups and downs to that, right? But if you're taking the Mark Sanchez path and you're just going out and getting stabbed in the street, I'm not taking that path at all. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I think I'm out on being the FS1 host. Yep, broke Geno's jaw. Geno like missed the season. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. It was IKNM. Okay, makes sense. I did not know the name. Good on you for knowing it. But okay, yeah, okay. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, he got cut, and then Rex Ryan signed him like right after. Wild situation. Davis said Najee a good pick, so I'm fading now. Thanks for letting me know, Zero. Now I got to fade too. No, I don't know. I mean, Davis is cool. I don't watch a ton of Davis's stuff, but I watch some. I mean, I disagree on some, agree on some. He seems to be pretty thoughtful in his analysis, though. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Davis guy, but his stuff's fine. I like Davis, I guess. I just don't watch him a ton. I watch so much content, but like, you you aren't ready for my last two picks. I just looked over and saw Damian Martinez. That just cracked me up. That's a name. Haven't seen that name since last year. He's on Green Bay. What the hell? When did he get on Green Bay? Yeah, that just cracked me. I'm so glad I didn't see that till you already made one of the picks. That was just so great. Like looking over and just seeing Damian Martinez. That's a good one. Who I mean, on Green Bay, hey, he might actually be worth a pick. You might really be never wrong just early. All right, so I think we go Jalen Noel here. Yeah, I think he's probably the receiver I like the most. I love me some Antonio Williams, got 12.5%, Bryce Lance, but let's go Jalen Noel. I'm a little underweight. I've been convinced in recent times that he's a pretty good pick. That slot role kind of vacant with Kurt gone. Texans offense not the best, but this late. So let's go Seth McGowan again. Or let's go no, I already have a lot of Demond Claiborne. Let's go Seth McGowan. Yeah. Yeah. We'll go Seth McGowan again. He's getting a little bit of hype. Odds are he's probably a 0, but he's getting a little bit of hype right now. Like I said, been to prison. We know he's a tough guy. So we'll take him for that. I don't have very much of him anyway, so I just kind of want to pick him. I already had a lot of Demond Claiborne, and Demond Claiborne already has his own question marks. I think he's smaller. He's really fast. I feel like he's a good pass catcher, but I don't know. The running backs back here, they kind of get jumbled up in my head a little bit. So go with Seth McGowan. I know him because of the prison. That's the only way. Armed robbery, just like OJ. I love Hartman's deadpan about OJ. Yeah, no, that was yeah. I mean, he did rob someone. That's what he actually went to jail for. Terry and Stuart Lee. Why didn't I pick Terry and Stewart? Someone mentioned Terry and Stewart earlier. It was Hames. That's right. Yeah, I should have picked Terry and Stewart. Najee is my 4th most drafted RB. I'm kidding. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, well, I mean, I know you love Big Najee, Zero. I know you're a big Najee lover. I feel like I have you don't stream or nothing. I have never heard anyone glaze Big Naj more than you. And always call him Big Naj. Any guesses in the chat on my last pick? Is it wait, I'm not looking. It's gotta be a rookie from last year. It's gotta be a rookie from last year that you liked. I don't know, Malik Davis. I don't even think you liked him, but we'll give her the most random name I could think of. Marcus Mariota. Oh, no chance in hell I was binging that. Mariota, he's Washington still? Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna pick a backup, Marcus Mariota is not the worst. I'm curious. Oh, because you had the Washington stuff with Terry and JCM. It's okay, I guess. I mean, all the QBs pretty much got taken. So yeah, fair enough. Damian Martinez, classic Hames name. So I'll check out my team and then I'll check out Hames. Oh wait, Trig. Yeah, I don't think anyone was pulling your last pick in chat. If I stream Big Naj, would be sharp ADP or higher. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, 0. Jam. Oh, Jam Miller. Yeah, hey, I've heard Gab for Life talking about Jam Miller. I should have picked it. See, I need these names before I pick, and I'll throw them on there. Biggest Najee fan will always be Felix Castro. Um, is that yeah? I feel like I know who you're talking about, but I did not know he's a big Naj fan. I've heard Zero tell me about Big Naj a couple times. All right. So my team, I went with a 3-7-8-2, Jaden Daniels, Pat Mahomes, Geno Smith. Feel fine with that at QB. James Cook, Javante, Cam Scadaboo, James Conner, Tajay, Najee Harris, Seth McGowan, Rashi Rice, Garrett Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, Stephon Diggs, Jeremy Bernard, Jalen Knoll, Travis Kelsey, Dalton Kincaid. Probably could have went with a third tight end. I think Kelsey and Kincaid was fine enough, but it is a little bit thin. Receivers, Rice, Garrett up top, and then Ricky, Reed, Xavier. I like I mentioned on some other teams I saw from other people, but like I kind of like building in this little 80 to maybe like 110, 115 area. I like getting some receiver volume in there. I feel like there's a lot of good values or just guys I like in that range. Diggs, get a little bit of floor later. Jeremy, talked about him a few times, but looking good for the draft capital, has a good chance to get on the field right away, given like his archetype, kind of more of a slot guy. Noel, decent role in Texans offense, hopefully. No one else really their slot guy. Hopefully he slides in. So receiver feels okay. Kind of got more mid-range guys, but Rice and Garrett, hopefully they help out up top. Feels okay, maybe a little bit thin. With like Reed and Worthy both there, kind of more spiky guys. And Ricky too. He's always a question mark. James, even though I love him, James Cook, Javante, Cam Scadaboo. I feel like that's a really strong top three. As long as Scadaboo especially doesn't get nuked in the draft, uh, should be flexing a running back every week in that case. But feel really good with it. Obviously, a lot hinges on Scadaboo not getting put behind Jeremiah Love. And then Connor, Tajay, Najee Harris, Seth McGowan. Maybe you could have taken a little bit more of an upside swing later instead of like Connor and Najee together. Tyjay's a little bit of an upside. He's stuck behind whoever's going to be there. I feel like the RB room's okay overall. Maybe should have went a little bit more upside guy instead of like Connor or Najee. But feel pretty good with it. Quarterback felt pretty good with. I got Jaden up top. Mahomes should be back hopefully decently early in the year, if not week 1. And then Geno, like I was saying earlier, I don't mind taking shots on Jets. Not as much on Geno himself, but with Garrett Wilson, don't mind it as my last QB. Got a little bit of value on him. And then let's check out Huhaim's team. 3-7-8-2, same as me. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Marcus Mariota. Now, Josh Allen up top, so does it really matter who your other QBs are? Not much. But Aaron Rodgers, Marcus Mariota. Intriguing pick with the Mariota, but you did have a Washington stack, so it makes some sense. Chuba, Dobbins, Jadarian Price, Kenneth Gainwell, Mike Washington, Ja'Cory Krusky-Merritt, Damian Martinez. I think your RB room for going 0 RBs built out pretty well. Chuba, Dobbins, Gainwell. Feel good about them getting touches every week. JCM's probably pretty undervalued if they don't bring in anyone like big in the draft. So yeah, I think you built it out pretty good. Maybe, yeah, no, I think with 7, you probably built it out pretty good. And with Price there, hopefully he gets good draft capital, goes to Seattle. Like he goes to Seattle and you're like supercharged at RB, right? Because then between Dobbins and Chuba, just fill the one other spot, you're probably looking pretty good. JSN, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Omar Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Chris Bell, Ted Hurst, then Bowers Chig. So strong at tight end with Bowers, obviously. Receiver, I think receiver feels fine. A little bit. Well, he's your 5. Yeah, I think receiver feels fine. A little bit like same thing where you're hoping on Marvin Harrison to he at least seems to return some of that value, but as long as he's healthy on the field, he's like probably their best targeter, maybe unless the Michael Wilson breakout's real. But I think that feels fine at receiver, feels fine at running back. Obviously, you got both the elite onesies, probably the one at their position. I think it's pretty solid overall. I think that I like your running back room. I think I like it overall. I think the receivers, maybe like instead of Bell, like instead of one of Bell or Hurst, maybe try to get a little bit safer of a guy, but that's probably easier said than done, to be fair. So yeah, I mean, I think I like it overall. I think it looks really solid. Um, yeah. And then the Marcus Mariota and Damian Martinez even got your own personal flair on it. So, how can you argue with that? Uh, whoa. He won the DK Millie had him on last year. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I feel like Fanspeak also had him on like last summer or something. Cause the name really rings a bell, but like that kind of does ring a bell now. Felix the Legend. Love the Reed price this year. And me too. I'm pretty in on Reed. I like Reed quite a bit this year as well. I think I only have like 10% or so. But yeah, I am a little bit worried to see if they draft someone. Just a tiny bit worried. If they do decide that Golden ain't it and they want a little bit of help, worries me just a tiny bit pre-draft, but I don't know if it'll be anyone meaningful enough to hurt Reed. And yeah, Reed's price. I mean, it's fallen a lot, and Romeo Dobbs and Dontavian Wicks are gone. The guys keeping him off the field, right? But, maybe they're not like duplicative roles exactly, but like guys taking up a lot of targets, a lot of snaps are gone now. So especially if they don't bring anyone in, the Reed could be like a smash. Um, I'd argue ability to handle 20 plus touches from Connor and Najee is upside. What is Tajay upside in this context? Oh, Tajay per game though. Tajay can cook, because Tajay when Pollard got hurt actually like was cooking. I'm pretty sure, because I was the same thing. I was like, what is Tajay gonna do for you? But let me find the one time he was good. Yeah, see, 2 years ago. But week 15, 24. It's mostly receiving he got there. That was most of it, was receiving. Honestly, he has 2 good games and they both had 2 touchdowns. So, what upside does he have? Apparently the ability to score 2 touchdowns. Um, but no, I mean that's fair. I think he's shown to be decently explosive and like can be used in the receiving game and stuff, but I don't know, that's fair. I'm not the biggest Tajay fan, but he does go pretty late. James Conner and Najee, I think the downside of that is coming off the injury. What do we expect? How much does that change them as players? Especially Connor, right? Being like even older, like past 30, or about to be 30. He's not past 30. Is he about to be, or no, yeah, he is 30. Yeah. And he's about to be 31. Right. But yeah, I think with them it's just the injury risk is a little bit scary, but that is fair. Tajay got a decent workload, I think, when Pollard went down. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Any backup realistically has decent upside if they're the clear backup, I think. But fair enough. Yeah, they could probably handle more workload than him. Steve right on brand with the oldie last pick. Cooper Kupp. Hell yeah, there we go. Switch it up just for Al. Yeah, you love to see that. Love to see it. Yeah, hey, year 10 breakout. I could see it. I could see it coming. Maybe he goes for 2K this time. Cup new JSN 0. Track that gif. It's funny because as soon as you put that, like I can just see it. LMAO Al. I could have stopped at 5 receiver. That might be pushing it. The Omar Cooper chips might be getting pushing a little bit too much. Stopping at 5, but I think yeah, no, your receiver room looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Blazers looking dangerous in these NBA playoffs. I will take your word for it. I'm a Warriors fan, I guess, but I'm from Michigan, so I'm more a Pistons fan. Basketball is my least follow out of the 4 major sports, though, unfortunately. I heard Bam got hurt. That wasn't great. Meg had him on. Okay, I'm pretty sure I saw that when he was on there, so I do remember him from then. You, you know what's He's more on DK than you do. Okay, that kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense. But I do remember him being on your guys' streams, like both your guys' streams. I just the name, like it kind of clicked, but I wasn't 100% sure. But now that I have the context, I do kind of remember. I'm just saying if Tajay is upside, then Connor and Naj are upside too. Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I guess yeah, the way I was saying it is like because those are more my floor plays. I guess I was thinking because like what's funny is like now I'm thinking about why I said that. It's because I don't think Tajay would do shit without an injury. So he's purely upside. Because like, yeah, sure, he gets on the field. People always say that. But like Tajay doesn't really do shit without an injury, like real talk, for like actually hitting a lineup. So I'm like, oh, he's upside because he doesn't mean shit if no one gets hurt. Where like Connor and Naj, I'm like, well, maybe they can hit, so they give me some floor because they actually get touches. I think that's how my thought process worked. But I'm like, he's upside and they're floor because if there are no injuries, Tajay I don't think does anything for my lineup, or Naj and Connor still can. But I do get what you're saying. I think the way I said that is wrong because yeah, they do have upside if Algier gets hurt or if Naj goes somewhere with a starter. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, but now that I'm actually thinking through it, I think that's more what I meant. Tajay won't do shit without an injury. The other two might, so their floor he's only ceiling and nothing else. Omar Cooper going to be 5-6 turn BBM. Don't worry, Herman. Oh, I mean, I don't have as much as Who Hames, but I have 13%. I have a decent little chunk. I'm overweight. I should have more. But I didn't. I wasn't as up to date. I'm overweight. I mean, that's enough. 13% is plenty. Omar going to be the number one for the Browns. Yeah. 13% is plenty. Like I said, 13% is more than plenty for Omar if that's the case. Either the number one for the Browns or the number two for the Jets. That's Omar Cooper's destiny. Hate to say it, but he might just be good enough to work out of there. That's fair. Now I see what you meant. Yeah. No, I don't do the best at explaining them sometimes. Thank you for the pushback. It made me actually think about what I was trying to say. Phantom will be the number one for the Browns, and that's probably a pretty fair take. I mean, they get Cooper. I probably believe in Cooper to beat him out, but I mean, over anyone right now, Jerry Jeudy sure shit ain't beating out Fannin if they're both healthy. Like, I'm pretty confident in that. I'm a Jerry Jeudy hater though, so maybe I'm wrong. Target earner, yes, but not wide receiver. Fannin, yeah. Number one target earner, not wide receiver, yeah. I'm not as overweight as I was because I took less of him as he rose. Oh, Cooper? Yeah. Yeah, I think when he initially got the bump from the combine, I was like really, really going crazy and I had him overweight. Like I want to say he was in like more, where'd you get him? Like the 130, like right around 130, 125. I feel like when he was in like the 150s is when I was like hammering like crazy. Is like roughly where he was. I could be a little off, but like I only had a little bit before that. And then I hammered him like crazy. And now I've taken a little bit less, but I'm still pretty willing to mix him in these ranges. Judy and Cooper would be nutty as fuck with Judkins grinding it out. Judy and Cooper. Oh, and Omar Cooper. Yeah, no, I mean that'd be a pretty sick lineup. And then Harold Fannin down the seam. If only they had top 38 QB play for a change. Hey, they have a Pro Bowl quarterback. Shadur Sanders was one of the top 6 quarterbacks in the league last year. Top 8, because we'll give the Super Bowl guys their credit. He's a top 8 quarterback in the league last year. Pro Bowler, voted on by people who know more than any of us possibly could about the game of football. He made the Pro Bowl. How could he be bad? But no, it is pretty concerning. Anyone that goes to the Browns, it is pretty concerning. I mean, I think if it's one high-end receiver, I don't feel too bad because the volume should be fine. But if it's like more than one high-end receiver, first round and a second round or a first and a third, I think I start worrying a little because I don't want pieces of that offense in particular, really, unless I like the player. And if there's questions about the target volume, is it going to be too spread around and it's already an offense I don't want? it's going to be pretty hard to buy in. But if they just pick like one guy in the first round, he might be able to consolidate so much that even with a bad offense, we still feel pretty good. LOL, my team projects for under 2K points. Damn. Well, you do have a lot of rookies like receivers, right? And 2 rookie running backs with the 0 RB build. That kind of makes sense. Under 2K is pretty wild though. You only see that pre-draft. Do the 1 hour clock start tomorrow or Friday? I think they're Friday. I'm pretty sure they're Friday, but I'm not the biggest. Oh, okay, yeah. Steve said pretty sure Friday also. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Friday. That sounds right to me. Or Thursday. If Cooper pretty sure Friday though. But if Cooper goes top 40, very, very likely, and gets the worst possible landing spot, he will move up from 120. Oh yeah, 100% agree. If he goes to the Browns in round 1, I mean, he's moving up. But yeah, top 40, he's probably moving up. That's kind of been my thesis too on like Conception, Cooper. You know, Boston's falling a little, so maybe not quite as much him right now, but like Cooper and Conception for sure, and even Boston to some extent going at like 144. Like guys that are pretty much locks to go first round or like you said, top 40. I think, yeah, this late, they just feel like good bets. They feel like bets I want to make. You know, same thing with like the Jeremys and the Antonio Williams and Ted Hurst. It's like if those guys are more likely than not second round picks and they're going past pick 200, I want to take shots because they're probably moving up. A la, you know, like Kyle Williams last year, right? I mean, he went to the Patriots, it's a good spot, but yeah, those guys are moving up from 200 if they go in the second round. Shadur, future Hall of Famer, 100% agree. It's a lock. It's a lock, basically. I mean, he was destined for greatness the moment he came out of the womb, you know? But no, QB plays a little scary on Cleveland, I'll be real. I just hope they don't take Tate. Yeah, why you got like big bag of Tate or some shit? Like any reason or I don't know. I just yeah, I don't know. I hope they don't take anyone I have a high exposure to be honest. Rodgers / Mariota. I don't know what you mean. Those are your 2 QBs behind Josh Allen. You'll be taking Ted Hurst 140 when he's a Packer. Well, I'll take Ted Hurst at 140 when he's a Packer for sure. I got a bag of Ted Hurst. I got 12%. Come on. Name a rookie I'm overweight probably if they're go higher than ADP 20. Go higher than 20th round. Massive bag of Tate and stylistically Cooper can thrive, whereas I'd worry about Tate. Okay, yeah. That makes sense then. Especially if you have the massive bag and then yeah, style-wise, I guess. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see that. Like I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, but just in general, if you have a massive bag, you probably don't want him going on the Browns. Savion. Yeah, Savion might be he might be the new wide receiver too in Green Bay. Might be a little bit hard to see it. Hey, what's up, Hulk Smash Potatoes? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate it. We're just getting near the end now. I'm probably gonna be logging off in just a minute or two. But thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it. Who will hear their name called first on draft day? Boston, Cooper, or Conception? I'd probably, if I had to bet on it, I'd probably bet on Cooper. My favorite player is Conception out of the 3, but I think Cooper. I feel like there's a lot of steam about him moving up. There's some steam about Conception, maybe like sneaky getting picked higher than people are thinking. But I feel like Cooper just has the most steam. I'd probably lean towards him. I think it won't be Boston. Boston is the one that would shock me if it's him. I feel like the only guy I've heard like talk really high about Boston's like Chris Sims. But that one would surprise me. I think Cooper Conception, I'd lean Cooper. I think it's more Tate, Tyson, Lemon will be tougher to pay off their ADP with the Browns. But Boston, Casey, and Cooper are so much cheaper, easier to pay off on a bad offense. Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, that's fair. Because if they go Boston, Casey, Cooper are so much cheaper to pay off on a bad offense. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with that. I think when you're getting KC Conception at 106, like, you look at the other receivers you can get, like Reed, Worthy, Downs, Golden. None of those guys are the ones on their team. None of them are really contending to be the ones on their team. Maybe Golden is, I guess, but like whatever. But and like Shakir's not. But yeah, no, that makes sense. Either of these guys, like Conception, Cooper, they could be the number one receiver on the Browns, or they could go to a bad team, be the number one, go to a good team, be the number two. But it's like, I get what you're saying. Like going that high in the real life draft, they're just undervalued right now. They should be going a little bit higher, especially if they're going to be first round picks. Because there's no way if they go in the first round, there's like almost no way in my mind they go after pick 100. At least I don't think they hold there if they do. I think they easily, climb up into this like Michael Wilson, Addison, Sutton, Metcalf range. Maybe not there, but like the Wandale, Dobbs, Jacoby, like this range, I think they at least one or two of them climb up in here, if not all of them. Like with the QJ, Pittman, I think, yeah, they at least get up into the, 90s, 80s, and maybe even a little bit higher. If it's a spot we like, it could be even a little bit higher. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that late, I totally agree. Because it's just too late for their projected draft capital. It's more so the Tate ADP is super high and Cooper's cheap, so you can still pay off for the Browns. Right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That does make sense. Like, yeah, I mean, because the guy at 110, and then obviously, like, I think we think any first round receiver probably has the ability at least to wash Jerry Judy. At least I do. I have that thought. Casey Conception or Cooper, they could walk into the Browns and be wide receiver one day one. And yeah, that makes sense. If you're getting that kind of volume at pick 106 or 125, that kind of just pays itself off. They're the wide receiver one, or they're just getting enough volume. They have a good enough role. But if it's like Tate and he plays on some shitty team like the Browns, even if he gets 120 targets, you might be pretty disappointed at pick 59. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. That all logically makes sense. That was two. Conception probably. Okay, so you're going Conception out of the three. Boston guy, but I'm on an island. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. NFL teams love upside. Yeah, and Conception. Yeah. But see, that's where Cooper could too, because I mean, he can kind of win everywhere, right? I know he's more of a slot guy last year, but that's like the thing is 2 years ago, he kind of was outside. Maybe he's not like quite the man to man, like he's not the ultra man to man beater. I don't know if either of them is, but Conception, yeah. Yeah, maybe the overall upside of him is enough to push them. I think Conception will be the first of those three. Okay. So you guys are both leaning towards Conception. All right. No, I mean, I like that. I've heard, I guess because him and Cooper both have a lot of steam right now. But, even in drafts, I guess you see it like Conception's been steaming up even more. I mean, he's almost at pick 100 now. He's really been gaining a lot of steam. That's interesting. You also a Conception. All right. So Gab, you got your answer is Conception. That is who's going first. That makes sense to me though. All three seem like nice clicks at ADP. And I agree with that. I think, like we were just saying, it's as late as they go and as high as the draft capital in the real draft should be, it should be good at ADP. Oh, what's up, Peanut Punch? Thanks for stopping by, bro. I believe the Saints or Dolphins will be the first to select a receiver. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I feel like the Saints taking a receiver just makes the most sense to me. I feel like the Saints taking like, I don't know, just any of the top guys. It's hard to say like which one, but like I feel like them taking one of the top guys feels right to me. What pick are the Dolphins? 11? I think the Dolphins taking one makes sense too. I could see the Chiefs taking one. Oh, the Commanders could take one. I think that the Commies or the Saints are the first team to take one. The Browns could at 6, but I think they'll probably wait till their later pick. I'd probably go Commies for the first receiver taken if I had to guess. But maybe not. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm not a Commies fan, so Wait, where? Oh yeah, it would be. Yeah, I could definitely see that though. I mean, I think Saints and Dolphins are good bets to take a receiver if there's someone there that they have a decent grade on. I think they're pretty good bets to take a receiver. I really think the Saints are going to. They're the one I feel the most like confident will. Maybe not confident, but I don't know. That's my prediction. Um, Conception will probably be first. I see Boston scoring the most points though. Makes sense. Big body could be a good red zone threat. Tato Lave would cook so hard. Wow. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I feel like I see the most. If he makes it, is like they take Carnell Tate like every time if he makes it. Um, I feel like I see that a decent amount, like just in mocks and stuff, different mocks. But yeah, that would be. I think that would be a pretty cool combo. Show Bo Nix range, Chuck Bo Nix range. I don't know what that means. KC is first to take wide receiver. They trade up to 7 is my call. Why do they? Oh, to get ahead of the Saints. They jump the Saints. Yeah. No, I mean, I could definitely see. I think KC is definitely in play for receiver for sure. They're just hard though. I mean, it's hard to know if they are prioritizing that or not. You probably know better than I would. I mean, you're a Chiefs fan, but yeah, I could definitely see that. I like the Chiefs to take a receiver. So Tate Chiefs, in my opinion, kind of scary. Yeah, no, I mean that'd be pretty cool. Chiefs going CB or OL. I kind of think so too. But I mean, hey, who aims is the Chiefs guy. So I'll take his word for it. And I've seen some of the receiver stuff too. I think there is some smoke to that. 0.4 likes, yes. Hey, hey, what's up, fantasy dog? Or I mean, you've been in here. Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate you keeping an eye. Hit that like if you haven't already. If you're enjoying the content. Um, KC won't go CB. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I'll take your word for it. I was saying Shuck too cheap if he has Tate and a lot. Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah, okay. Oh, Shuck should go in the Bo Nix range. I get what you're saying now. Okay, yeah. Shuck in the Bo Nix range. Yeah, yeah, easily. I mean, I guess maybe his rushing upside's a little lower. Bo Nix coming off broken ankle, so maybe not. Yeah, no, I mean, Shuck right with Murray, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy. If they get a little bit of help at receiver, that seems fine to me. I think he's pretty debatable with like all the guys that went in this round anyway. So it wouldn't take much for me to like be able to move him up into another tier. Yeah, don't mind that call at all. Uh I'm on the island that doesn't like Tyson or Boston. Yeah, I mean, I'm I was talking some trash about Boston, but I'm pretty sure he's like my highest owned. 16% for like the rookie receivers. Um Tyson I'm at 11%. Tyson I, I'm I'm coming around on Tyson. I've come around on Tyson quite a bit because I think I always had the idea that I don't know. I've always been pretty open to the idea that he might be the best of the 3 rookie receivers. It's just the injuries and him not doing any of the workouts leading up to the draft is a little concerning, but I am pretty open to the idea that he might be the best of them all. So I did want to get probably a little overweight, and I'm gonna kind of let draft capital dictate how I move after the draft. But I'd be pretty open. Like I'll just say it as in like I would be pretty open post draft to having a lot of Jordan Tyson if he goes to a decent spot. Where like I don't know if I feel the same about like Tate or Makai Lemon. Maybe I do. It just depends on the spot. But I don't know. Jordan Tyson, I've just really been buying into the more like he's the best receiver in this class. It's just the injuries holding him back narrative. I've been buying into that slowly more and more. So but I mean, I don't know. If you're gonna fade 2 guys though, David Boston seems like the most like one of the most polarizing. Like some people hate him, a couple people like him. I don't mind him. Obviously, I had 16%, but Tyson, I don't know. I think Tyson, it's just the injuries. It seems like is the only thing against him. Really, there was some other stuff, um, but yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a fine. Oh, I was gonna say that's a fine stand to take like the divisive guy, Boston, that like some people don't. And then the guy that's always hurt. If you're gonna fade two guys, why not those two? Fade Tyson. It's like I might get a bag of Tyson. He was actually the GOAT, but then his hamstring acts up, or he has another injury like every year of college. So he definitely carries a lot of risk. So I don't fading him is maybe a little bit better than fading some of the other guys. I don't like Tyson either, but the NFL seems to like him, so I'm taking my medicine. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. I like Tyson. I just think the injuries are scary, but everybody subscribe to our channel. I hope so, Fantasy Dog. Thank you for checking though. But please subscribe if you're not. I think everyone here right now is though they're the friends and family. Shuck, my number one QB drafted, so I'd love Tate there. Yeah, I think I'd like Tate there too. I don't know what my number one QB. Baker Mayfield, damn. Shocking. I did not expect. I mean, I pick a lot of Baker, but I did not expect him to be number one. Baker, Bryce Young, Jaden Daniels, Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck. We got Tyler Shuck at 14%. That's not bad. That's not bad. Shuck's my fifth highest owned. Not too bad. Katron Allen, Big Naj, 20%. Fuck yeah, dude. Big Naj. Running backs. Surratt, 28%. Diggs, 22. TJ Hawk, 17. Not sure how I feel about that one. David Njoku, 16. Great once he signs somewhere. Sam Laporta, love that one. Yeah, no, I like Shuck a lot too. I have a lot of Shuck too. If they get another weapon, I'd be super in on him. I mean, I already am super in on Shuck, but even if his price went up, I'd be pretty willing to pay a higher price for him. I think if you trust Tyson medically, he's the 2-1 if you are a crazy person. I mean, I don't know. I feel like seeing him as the 1 doesn't feel that crazy. I don't have the stats right now to back myself up, but yeah, maybe. I mean, I think the upside, right? Like you said, upside is the NFL's favorite word or whatever. It's like I think the 1 if you're a crazy person is like the potential though. The potential is he could be the best. Like, he could be the best. He just needs to be healthy and this and that. Lemon to me is the hardest to feel like they pay off the price. I think so too. I feel like Lemon is the most team dependent. Like he really needs to go to a scheme that's going to use him right, probably to really pay off. And even then, depends on the offense overall. But like if he goes to the Browns, I probably don't want much to do with them. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'd reevaluate that. Maybe I'm wrong. Like schematically, maybe the Browns are a decent fit. But I think on a bad offense, like, yeah, I really don't feel good with Mekhi Lemon. He needs to go to like the Rams or something. And even then, maybe volume's an issue. But like, he needs to go to a good offense that's going to use him right. Which, he needs to go to the Niners. That'd be sick. Mekhi Lemon on the Niners. I'm not sure if the way Tyson wins translates as cleanly, especially in year 1. Fair enough. Fair enough. And with the injuries, right? What scares me a bit plus injury. I don't care about injury that much. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Almost 3 hours, dog. Appreciate it, Fantasy Dog. Appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Always bringing the positivity. Fantasy Dog always brings the positivity to chat. Oh, shit. I can see that 0. I still have 8 to 10% to be humble. There you go. Hey, I hate this guy. No, you didn't say I hate this guy, but that is fine. 8 to 10% to be humble. You're overweight to be humble. 12.6% Shuck. Yeah, I like that. That was really close to mine. I was at like 12 or 13. But that's my true serum. That's fair. I'm like 10% Tyson, 7% Lemon, 14% Tate. All right, I gotta see. Lemon, I have a lot of 15%. Tate, I have like 10. And then Tyson, I think I had 11. 11. Yeah. So I have 10, 11, and 15 on Mekhi Lemon. Mekhi Lemon is my favorite receiver, but I think out of the 3, but I came around kind of the idea that like it's just the way he wins and like I don't know. I think kind of like what you're saying. It's gonna be the hardest for him to pay off, and he probably needs to go to the right team or like good scheme fit. I think I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried about him year 1. Depending on the team, like he's so much more draft dependent probably than like Tyson or Tate. I can see Tyson first wide receiver off the board to the Dolphins. I think a receiver is going to go before the Dolphins, man. I think 11. I think there's already going to be because I don't think the Browns at 6, Commies at 7, Saints at 8, Chiefs at 9. I don't think that they'll all pass on a receiver. I think one of them at least will take a receiver. Dolphins taking Tyson at 11, though. I mean, I could see it. I do think a receiver will go before that, but if not, they could take Tyson as the first receiver drafted. I could see that. I'm overweight all three, but not clicking as much Lemon in my final drafts. I'm kind of similar. Lemon was the one I had the highest, as you saw, but I'm kind of similar in that sense of like not clicking him as much, especially also because I knew I was already overweight. I think Tyson has the highest upside. He's the best chance to be a number 1 from this class. Yeah, I mean, I'll take your word for it. You know, I believe what you say more than you know, like I don't watch college ball. I just watch a bunch of like breakdowns and stuff. Try to watch a little bit of the highlight reels, you know, just Bonds productions. But yeah, no, I mean that I don't know. I feel like that's what I've heard too is like everything with Carnell Tate is like, man, he would be like one of the best number 2 receivers in the league. But can he be a true alpha? It seems like that's what everyone kind of says about him. You know, and maybe that's wrong. It's kind of hard to say, but it feels like Tyson is the guy people talk about as like if it all comes together, like this guy could be like your mega star, like number 1, not mega star, but like your star number 1 clear wide receiver, right? Or the other guys maybe don't feel as much like that. Lemon Tate, Surratt, Bell, Conception. Lemon Tate, Surratt, Bell, Conception. Is that your like rankings? Maybe that's rankings. You got Surratt 3. Surratt 3 is I like it. I mean, hey, Surratt's my highest owned guy. I like it. Tate going to dominate in the NFL, like actually dominate IMO. Why didn't he do it in college then? He was like the wide receiver 2. And, you know, he's beyond a generational prospect. but I don't know. I mean, he where's the production? What? You just played behind too good of players? It's like I don't know. It took Chris Olave like 5 years to dominate. He wasn't that good at it, you know. Like I don't know. It's not like the other Ohio State guys are like doing all that crazy in the NFL. They are, but like I don't know. You get Garrett Wilson, you get worse Garrett Wilson. Worse. This guy got washed by MHJ. MHJ sucks. We take MHJ behind Carnell Tate, and MHJ was washing Carnell Tate. You tell me. But maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I'm just being a hater for no reason. Rage baiting for no reason. I think he can be a true number 1. I see it cleaner than Tyson, but that's why this is fun. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, fair enough. No, and maybe it could be. I mean, they do all seem relatively close. Like as far as like draft capital, you know, like potential upside and stuff. They maybe not Lemon as much because of like physical limitations and stuff, but they do. It does seem like a pretty close draft class. Yeah, subscriber, hell yeah. What do you mean? You better already been subscribed, Fantasy Dog. What the hell? But appreciate it. I see what Steve mean, or maybe you meant it went up by 1. Hey, appreciate it, Fantasy Dog putting in the work. Hell yeah, give me subs. I see what Steve means. Highest upside. What's the odds he reaches it in year 1? No, that's fair. I mean, he may never reach his upside. Tate is NFL ready. And that's a good point. You know, Tyson coming off the injuries, and it's like, and how much I think a big concern with Tyson too, that I'm kind of interested to see like how healthy he is in this little pre-draft process, like or not pre-draft process, but like OTAs and stuff once he does get drafted, is how much is Tyson going to be limited if like his injuries keep him out of camp at all, anything like that. You know, that could really hurt him as a rookie if that's like limiting him in camp or anything like that, if he's still not over this hamstring or whatever is bothering him. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. Tate is I've heard that from a lot. Like everyone says Tate's the most NFL ready. Like that is very clearly, regardless of who you're talking to or whatever, that is the take. He's the most NFL ready out of them all, right? Like overall NFL ready. Maybe Kai Lemon like as a slot guy, but like Tate is the most overall just NFL ready wide receiver in this draft. Yeah, no, I mean, I can see that. But I don't know, give me the pure upside. He may never reach it. What if he does though? Do you ever think of that? We're playing for the upside case, not the downside case, buddy. We're playing to win. We're not playing not to lose. Tate will be a top 12 wide receiver after next year, like going into 2028. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. We will see. We will see him and Chris Olave. Saints may have 2 top 12 wide receivers if he lands there. Hey, there we go. Yeah, keep moving Olave around and let Tate cook. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that'd be a pretty sick offense. If they get any of those top guys, that'd be pretty sick. Yeah, I mean, Saints offense could be really nice. I think Saints offense might be pretty nice as is. They get another high-end receiver like that team might really make the leap on offense. And that whole Kellen Moore system, Chuck looked pretty good. Like, not bad at least. It looks like he can run that offense. So, yeah, no, that'd be sick. I'm tired of the number 2 argument. Same thing everyone said about Jefferson. I'm tired of the number 2 argument. Same thing. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have all his like stuff pulled up. I know his production's like kind of mid. Like it's fine, but I don't know. I guess like a lot of the Tate stuff is like it's kind of like explained it away with he played behind Jeremiah Smith, but it's like all his stuff looks fine. He just doesn't look like super elite. Maybe he is, and maybe Jeremiah Smith's just like, better than Jamar Chase level prospect, which maybe he is, but I I don't know. I don't know. I don't scout rookies as much. I'll keep it real. But it does seem like there's question marks about Tate overall as far as like being the true alpha, beating man coverage consistently and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have the numbers ready to defend myself. I'm going off buzzwords like he's a number 2. I thought I was overweight the top 6 rookies, but apparently I'm only overweight Tate and Conception. Huh. That's pretty surprising if you think you're overweight to only be overweight on those 2. But yeah, I mean, just kind of as the season goes, you're doing a lot of volume. It can be pretty easy to have guys fall out of your like top exposures or not top exposures, but like if you're planning on having them at like 10 or 11, it's pretty easy to have them fall to like 6 or 7 if you're doing a shitload of drafts, and you're not checking it like constantly and stuff or using the best ball overlay tool. Then it is kind of easier to let them fall like that. And maybe that was intentional. I'm not sure, but yeah, it can be kind of easy to let them fall a couple percent. I have 15% Tate still, and I haven't clicked them in a month. Damn, nice. You're not alone. I blame drafting with who for being underweight Cooper. He always sniped you every single time. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'd probably have like 16% Cooper if I didn't draft with whoever. MHJ was 2 years older. Yeah, Tate is young as fuck. It's probably gonna take him a while to break out. Then maybe that's why Who Aim said top 12 in 2 years. Yeah, no, I mean, fair enough. I was, I don't know. I was just talking shit, but like, I'm not actually trashing him because MHJ, who was supposed to be a goat, washed him like 2 years ago. That's not a big deal, but but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Tate. Like I said, I was overweight. And a lot of it does matter on landing spot, but fair enough. I mean, you guys seem pretty in. If he goes to the Saints, I'll be all in. Don't get me wrong. If he goes to the Saints, I'm all in. Hulk smashed potatoes. I'm only 26% Omar now. Nice. Lemon and Tyson would get washed by Marv too. You're wrong. That's where you're wrong. Jordan Tyson would make him his bitch. No, but yeah, you're probably right. Fair enough. I was being a hater. Impressive restraint. For Who Hames 26%. Yeah. Can you talk about how good Kamara is going to be this year for BBG's bags? Sure. Let me see how much Kamara bags I have, and I'll decide what I want to say. I have 2% Kamara. I guess to me, the deal with Kamara, how does he hit your lineup? How does this man's get in your lineup ever? Explain that to me. Multiple touchdowns, perhaps, but like, I mean, he barely played last year. did Kamara even like miss time? Or did he just like not play? He missed a little bit of time, but he didn't miss that much time last year, right? What did he play? He missed 6 games. Fair enough. Let's see. Game log. Share this time. So best week of the year, he had a 16, 13, full PPR. So he had a 16 with 6 catches. So a 13 on underdog. And then this would have been 12.7 on underdog with a touchdown. I just don't know if you can hit your lineup in a meaningful way, even if Travis Achan tears his ACL before week 1, I still don't know if Kamara's hitting your lineup. I mean, like, these aren't good enough weeks to hit a lineup, right? Like, maybe week 1 and 2. And like even this one, he had 4 catches and this is full PPR. That'd be 9.2. That's not hitting a lineup most of the time. 5 catches, that'd be what, like 10? Yeah, that's not hitting your lineup. It's like this one maybe 3 catches though, so he's losing like point. Maybe that hits your lineup, but they're all bad. None of them are like good scores. Yeah, I don't. I'm not. I'm not as much into the Kamara thesis. I think. Um, he's cheap enough. I mean, you want a bag of Kamara, get a bag of Kamara. Why not? I mean, he's cheap enough, I guess. But yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna have much Kamara bags. I think the 2% solid. I feel good with that. And if he's the guy you need, hey, I'm a BBG fan, so I'd like to see him win on some Kamara. Why not? ETN got chain snatched by Tank Bigsby. Kamara mid I like that one. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah. Hey, I mean, maybe Kamara. What if Travis Achan is just the Jordan Love to Alvin Kamara's Aaron Rodgers? And this is like what's going to motivate him and really bring him back to greatness, just like Rodgers, right? They get love. He's winning MVPs again. Kamara new Bijan 0. New Tajay Spears, but cheaper. That's a good. I don't know if he's got the burst like Tajay, but that's a pretty good comparison, probably. The best part about future predictions, you can also swing them as wildly, and nobody remembers. And that's a good point. That's a good point. Cooler saying, what's up, Cooler? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Yeah, no, I mean that's a fair point. That's a fair point. And that's why I'm taking a stand. Elijah Surratt, not Katron Allen. Elijah Surratt, breakout receiver you need this year. Katron Allen, gonna be mid, but he's a patient runner. Hopefully he gets a good backup job. Surratt, though, that's my guy. That's my guy. Katron Allen, I love watching him. He looks like Le'Veon, but he's slow as shit. He has negative burst. That dude, I don't think that dude's gonna do too much. He might be good enough between the tackles though to like get a little bit of points. Like get a little bit of a roll, good RB2 roll, but Katron's negative burst scares me a little. Love those big Naj bags. Hartman always suspected you were sharp and now confirmed. Hell yeah. No, big Naj. I learned from the best. You gotta have a bag of big Naj. No, but I mean, he's so free. I understand he's coming off torn ACL, but it was early in the year last year. And I mean, I don't know, just to be signs anywhere. Like what are you getting better in the 20th round? What, you want me to swing on Jaden Blue again, right? It's like, or 19th round. Like, I don't know. I don't mind having a decent bag of him, especially when it's kind of still the mystery box. You don't know where he's gonna sign. Yeah. Thanks, Zero. I appreciate it. Gotta be in on the big Naj. Alvin Kamara is the Phillip Rivers of Tajay Spears. That's a great comparison. The mobility is just a little bit gone. But that means he can probably still hit for a week or two. Like there's a week or two this year, Kamara might be the guy you need. So BPG is cooked. Hartman confirmed it. And then his Kamara bags are cooked. He takes Kamara at like pick 200. I mean, you can make it out with a couple bad picks around pick 200. And I mean, Kamara, like he's taking Kamara, I'm taking Katron Allen. Is there a difference? Probably not. Like, if we're just being real, I'm just doing it a little bit more fancy. He's picking some old dust ball. I'm picking the young, exciting rookie. This dude runs like Le'Veon Bell. He's just not fast. He runs with the patience. He dead ass looks like Le'Veon Bell waiting for that cut. How much Kamara Al? Kamara is James Robinson. I think I have 2 shares that I autoed by accident. Damn. 0. How much does he have? Not you. Oh yeah, how much does BBG have? 20%. No fucking way. I knew he was talking up Kamara a bunch, but I didn't think he had like 20%. Holy shit. Because he went on him early, and then he was like, "Oh no, that was a bad pick." And then recently he's been all back in on Kamara. What a weird pathing for that. Like over Big Naj. Stupid question, but why does the NCAA receiving TD leader go in round 18? Shades of Harold Fannin. I like how you say NCAA receiving touchdown leader. Like I don't know who the fuck that is. Receiving TD leader. Danny Scudero. I mean, I know you're talking about Skylar Bell for sure. Oh, there it is. Oh, Elijah Surratt. Yeah, no, for real. I didn't know Elijah Surratt led the NCAA in touchdowns. I'm gonna keep it real. I knew he had a bunch. I didn't know that led the NCAA though. Yeah, no, I mean I agree. That's my Ohio Stone player. Stupid question, shades of Harold fan. Agree 100%. I love me some Elijah Surratt. I was in on him super early, just watching that was the only college games I did watch for the playoff ones. So that got me a little bit in on him. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, 15 touchdowns last year. Can't argue with that. And he's about to be a Las Vegas Raider too. Go back with his boy Mendoza in the 150s. 8% Kamara would be the highest I ever went if I was clicking him. 20% is wild. I kind of agree. I don't like the Kamara pick, but maybe there's an argument. BBMTV will be deadly against Shrek. 100 seats to go around. 0330 time. Shooting blanks on option. No 330. I hope about him working 5 hours. Cheers. Hey, all right. We'll end it off there. But cheers to Al Boogie and Zero. Thanks everyone for stopping by. This is a lot of fun. Got in a couple drafts tonight. Did a little over 3 hours. Pretty long stream, but it was a lot of fun. Thanks everyone for stopping out. I'll probably be back on tomorrow or Thursday. I'll be back on a little bit later this week. But peace. Thanks everyone. If we knew Kamara were playing for sure, he'd be a solid pick. Agree. Great stream. Have a good night. Hey, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Peace.